Welcome, everyone, to the PlayVS Spring 21 High School Championship featuring Fortnite. We are back, folks. Yesterday was solos. We are back here for trios. My name is Life of Panda. Joining me today is Somebody's Gun. What's going on, my guy?
Hey, what's up, Panda? We had an amazing day yesterday featuring the best solo players across the country. Well, I guess across all of North America. And now we're looking at the trios today. Everything's been trios for the past few months. I'm super excited about this. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to jump into the action today.
Oh, I'm super excited. Look, solos is fun. Don't get me wrong. However, watching these consistent team modes that we've seen throughout the last couple seasons is exciting, right? And that's why trios today is the format. We're going to talk about it here in just a moment because, look, there's lots of exciting stuff going on. Here is the scoring format to start. Elimination cap for the games today is 20. You already know in a trio format like this, it is not too difficult to get to 20 eliminations. So they've capped it off at 20. Each elimination worth 2 points. You get 1 point for each placement between 21st and 30th, 2 points for each placement between 6th and 20th, 3 points between 2nd and 5th, and 5 points for that victory royale. So you already know in a format like this, it is all about being consistent and getting those placements. That's going to make a huge difference here in today's games.
Oh, no doubt. And we saw a similar style of placement-based games go through yesterday. Whether it be the solos on NA West or NA East, there was some absolute dominance by a few players showing them, I'm going to make it to every single end game. I might even win a couple of these games. I mean, who knows? We might see the same thing here. A few of these high schoolers are just absolutely phenomenal Fortnite players. And we have a number of excellent teams that we're going to get to be able to check out and watch throughout the day today.
Yeah, so many players on this list today. We're going to dive straight in. Let's show you who's going to be competing throughout today's games. You see familiar names in Narwhal, Oofishy, Kaz, but you cannot count out all these other players. They've competed for several weeks to get to this point, and guess what? It's all on the line for them. Top 8 from East and top 8 from West following this are going to make it onto the PlayVS Cup in early June. So it is all about being on top here today.
Yeah, it's going to be whoever stands out. And here we're going to see some other players who we're going to be looking for them in these games. And we're going to see, are you standing out? Are you going to be at the top of the leaderboard? Are you simply just part of the rest of the pack? We got players like Jolly, Aldra, Cozy, Aquatic, Jazo, Leroy. I mean, so many good players, and I can't explain to you, Panda, how excited I am. Trios, probably my favorite game mode that we will get to see across this year. You know, kind of like squads, but we're only seeing some one-off squad cups. So I'm super pumped to have trios for an entire year. And here's a few more players. We got Focake, Vitamin, Sad, Flopper, Dev, Antics, Flux, Renegade, Key. I mean, is there anyone that stands out? If there's going to be one team that you have to pick to win, who would you go with?
I mean, that's the question, right? Who are you going to go with in a format like this? We know that there's some familiar names, and we also know there's some unfamiliar names, some guys climbing the ranks here today and trying to prove that they are worthy of being in one of those top spots. And that's what it's going to come down to. You look at all these players clamoring for one of those top 8 spots, and that's what it's all about. You see Focake, you see Forgiving on that list. I mean, there are some pretty decent sized names here on the list and on the docket for the day. But we're just getting started because this is East. If you don't know, for those at home, we're going to be covering all of the East action first, and then immediately after, we'll be diving into some West action as well.
Yeah, we have six games here on NA East to decide who will be our top 8 that get to advance towards that PlayVS Cup, like we just spoke about earlier, as well as the top 8 later on over on NA West. We got 6 games in both regions. Then they'll get to collide later on in June. And that is where we get to see who is the true king or queen of North America going over these amazing matches. And all right, what's something we may or may not have seen yesterday that you're looking forward to?
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing that we saw yesterday that we're not going to see today, and that is bounce pads. For those of you at home that did not realize that bouncers actually made their way into the game there for a little bit, and we got to watch some of the action there in the second half of the East Cup, or the East Championships, and then when we went to West, we saw a game or two there as well. So we're definitely not going to see any bounce pad action, but we're going to see mobility play a major factor throughout today's games, and I think that's going to be the focus of what we watch. We're going to watch a lot of players dropping for, like Gunn mentioned yesterday, peppers. Pepper's going to be one of those power items and a focus for a lot of these teams, because guess what? That's the only mobility you got here in Season 6.
And it is quite a powerful mobility when it is the only one. I mean, if we had shockwaves and bouncers and launch pads, who really cares about a pepper? It's kind of an average mobility item if we're throwing in the entire pool of mobility. But when it is the only thing available, it is so powerful, whether you want to play on low ground, whether you want to own a mid ground layer, or go for those high ground takes. We saw it so many games where a player would eat one of those chili peppers, go on up, crank up to high ground, take over height, and then put themselves in a position. Maybe they didn't win the game, but they were at least coming away with a few eliminations, getting top 3, and those were the players we saw being super consistent in those lobbies. We'll see how it translates here into trios, because now it's a little bit different. We do have some players overlapping. I believe, looking through the list, there was a couple of players that I remember competing yesterday that also compete today. So props to you guys, a double qualifier, as I used to say back in the World Cup days. But I'm interested to see how this plays out. And now the combination of, I know you love to talk about it, the infantry and the tactical shotgun into loadouts. How exactly are those going to play out with trios now?
So this is what I'm going to say. You're going to see more balances within the trio of those power weapons, that being the infantry rifle, the tactical shotgun, making their way back just a few short weeks ago. And they've made their way back into the game, and they haven't really had too much competitive play. We've had a few other events leading up to this one where we've seen them showcased. However, there's not been much practice. So diving back in with these two weapons is going to be interesting, to say the least, especially in trios, because when you work as a team, you each have your different loadouts. You understand what your position is, what your role is, and you kind of work around that and continue to push forward based on that. So we'll see how these teams decide who's going to carry that pump shotgun, who's going to carry that tactical shotgun, who's going to carry the regular assault rifle, who's going to carry the infantry rifle. Those questions will be answered here shortly as we get ready to dive into those games. But Gun, do you have any predictions ahead of time before we get into game number 1?
We going with a team or something that we're likely to see in game 1?
Let's go with something that we're likely to see. So how about this? Where do you think this zone is going to end up? Do you think it's going to be north, or do you think it's going to be south?
So we saw a lot of central zones yesterday, which
That's
makes
true.
it really hard to predict, but I'm going south. I don't know what it is. I'm just getting this feeling. Maybe I talked to 11-2K. He gets to pick the zones for FNCS. So he was telling me, you know, we're picking zones here for the high school championship as well. And now we're going catty corner. That is my prediction. And by the way, no,
Okay.
11 doesn't actually pick the zones. If anyone actually thought that, I apologize.
Hey, listen, I you know what? I think I'm going to go with you as well. I think it's going to be a southern zone, but I think it's going to pull closer to the Slurpy Swamp side for this first game. But nevertheless, let's get into some action here shortly. I am super excited. Trios format being that one format that I personally enjoy out of all of them, right? Like, you talk about the different formats. Obviously, somebody's Gun, a huge squads fan. But trios, personally, for me, it takes not only a level of cohesion amongst you and your teammates, but it takes a lot more skill to survive. If you find yourself being taken away or being separated from your team, you ultimately have to deal with situations that aren't very comfortable, right? And result in you either going down, getting eliminated prematurely, which is things that you do not want to deal with. So it's all about working as a team, taking on those roles, whether it's IGL, support, your fragger, whatever the case may be, working into your role and performing at a high level in said role. So we're going to see a lot of great action here in just a few minutes. But nevertheless, man, this is going to be some crazy games today.
Yeah, and you hit the nail right on the head. Is sometimes you get caught out, and that's how a lot of early game fights are decided. When both players are somewhat shambles, you might get a few loot spawns before you go take those early engagements at POIs, or maybe a non-named POI somewhere across the map. It's all going to be determined by how quickly you can make the plays and how much you're able to pressure an opponent or steal away some of their loot path. It's not something that's talked about a ton, but being able to like corner off or cut off the loot path is huge to take away that position.
Yeah, it is huge. And speaking of huge, we are into the action. You see Peace Police, Shiesty, and Shio up on the top of the screen there. Peace Police being one of those East players we saw perform yesterday. I believe even made it on through the top 50 into the PlayVS Cup for East. So definitely going to be watching over Peace Police today. And also we see Strifer and Arrow down below with Dripsy. So it looks like they may be going to the same side of the map, both heading in a northern direction here. And it looks like the POI to start off is going to be the Shark.
And it looks like you go down early. Panda gets knocked right off the bat. So sorry, man. It's not your day. You're not doing too well here. We do see Jace also getting knocked in the feed. But a solid place with these slurp barrels up at the Shark. You also get a couple of those bunker chests if they spawn. And we'll see how this trio does. Who gets the priority? One thing that is seen across some of the top trios is giving loot priority to the best players instead of simply just grabbing it all first come, first serve. And now we're tuning in. This is the first engagement happening here at Slurpy Swamp, where unfortunately, Panda, you've got down.
Yeah, listen, this is what I said was going to be the first zone pool, but it looks like it's going to be quite the opposite here as we watch this engagement unfold. You see UT just trying to get some quick tags off on this player here. Gotta love Panda also on the team, but unfortunately Panda has gone down, so it's all up to his duo left alive, and they are able to take out one player. Now they need to work as a team. You see the shots coming out from different angles. This is being played out perfectly from this other duo. They are just taking shots from either angle. The material is all out, and he gets the knock here on this player. Yudi able to get a knock, get a nice little refresh. Now they need to play together and just work on this one last solo.
And the last build there plays from Accelerate. We'll have to see, is Mist going to jump in the box here? Looks like they're starting to disengage. So these players simply going to heal up. Yudi finally does share some of those small shield potions. Could have been dropped a little bit earlier to have a better engagement. Now, Mist is fully gone, but look who is coming in. We see a trio on the north side, and that is Mac, Zippy, and Skip, all starting to head in to Slurpy Swamp, and this could be another engagement as we see UD able to find them real quick. These guys just wanted the shield. They're going to dip on out, so not necessarily going to be a big fight right off the back. They're just going to battle back and forth. Both players going to be able to get some reboot cards, and right now, Panda, we're tuning in with, I would say, a fan favorite, but also one of my favorites with Who Fishy, Narwhal, and Kaz.
This trio has done some incredible things this season outside of PlayVS, and now we see them competing on the main stage here for the PlayVS Spring 21 High School Championship. These are three individual players that are extremely talented and know what they're going to be up against. Now, though, we focus on Civ, as Civ is diving in here with Prism and Sleepy, just trying to get some tags off right outside of Slurpy Swamp. So a lot of action taking place here in Slurpy, but it looks like with Prism and Sleepy having the advantage, they are able to wipe out this trio fairly quickly.
And it looks like Slurpy's going to be a hot spot for today. We've already seen those early game fights happening around and near Slurpy Swamp. Prism, Sleepy, and Xiv going to be able to walk away from this one in a much better spot. Tuning in to Misty Meadows, another POI. We saw Jace go down earlier, still without one of their teammates. there is another trio, so they have been contested here. Fades on the opposite side already was able to take down one of these players, but Zijon Fades. We'll see if they look to hold this and hang out. Looks like Zijon's sitting in a cone. Might have just needed to talk to his parents real quick, let them know what's going on. And now back with Death, Zijon, and Fades rotating on out.
Yeah, and look, we mentioned it before, but we will mention it several times throughout the broadcast today. It is top 8 here that are going to be going on. And if you don't know, they are going on to the PlayVS Cup here in early June. So they are fighting on the line here because top 8 is not something easy to walk away with. It is definitely going to be a challenge for these players as they fight to hold on. Remember, placement being such a major part in today's games also is going to be a factor. You know, when you don't have a ton of other factors kind of in play, you're going to focus on the top 8. And with placement being so much right now and eliminations being 2 points, it's all about balancing the two. Knowing that, okay, while placement should be the focus, we should still get the occasional elimination here and there.
And we do see, here's Eden. He was one of the players who appears to have double qualified. We saw him yesterday. Now, once again, in the trio mode as well. We have Assault Unreal, former mobile player. Also one of, if not the best mobile player here in North America. Was able to qualify for DreamHack Finals on mobile. Fun fact. And that might be coming back, but now he's made the switch. He's a full PC player at the moment, playing with Lupian and Temper.
Yeah, you know what? I will say this. We've seen throughout the years players switch input to input, and it always makes me wonder what the thought process is when they switch those inputs. Maybe they feel like they can't excel anymore on that one input, so they've decided to change it up, or maybe they feel like one input is stronger than the other. Whatever the case may be, it's always exciting to see top-tier players switch up inputs and still perform at a high level.
One of the more difficult things that's going to happen today is having to deal with Storm Surge. And we talked about it yesterday, but let me break it down quickly for you guys. If you're new, if you're a parent watching for the first time, every zone starting in zone 3 will have some sort of either Storm Surge warning or Storm Surge damage pop up. So in second zone, I know I said 3, but in second zone, you'll see the warning come through. That'll tell you whether you're above or below. And what that means is how much damage your team has dealt. If you're above the threshold to deal with Storm Surge. Then if you're below, it'll tell you that as well. Then once zone 3 appears, aka second zone closes, you will then have to get taken by 25 damage ticks every few seconds until you get above that threshold, or we lose players in the lobby. And it's 70 players for third zone, 50 for fifth, and 30 for seventh. So hope that makes sense. It's a little bit difficult to track, and we'll see it pop up. I'll try and explain it more as we go on. But with 92 players, these are why this engagement's happening. Both of these teams know you have to get your damage done and dealt early. Otherwise, it becomes more and more difficult as the game goes on.
Yeah, and knowing the balance between getting those damage tags in early, just like Narwhal there, and he completely dives in, it's going to be important, right? And that's why Narwhal, Hufishy, and Kaz, they're taking this engagement. They have a good loadout. They've already looted their respective area. Now it's just about getting some tags off and maybe even getting some eliminations on the board so they can continue comfortably throughout the rest of these games.
And we see this engagement's going to continue and prolong here. Narwhal, Kaz, Hufishy. And it looks like Hufishy's gone down here. So Narwhal trying to go save him. Kaz dealing a good bit of damage, but also getting it given right back. And these guys have to be careful. We see there's players in the distance heading on by. Maybe just looking to rotate. Don't want to necessarily get involved in the fight. And now Kaz down to no builds here in an absolute shambles situation. Does get back to his teammates. A little bit of shared materials, and they're looking for the Elim. Do find one player, so now it looks like it's a 3v1 situation once they get Narwhal back up, and who knows? If I'm that one player, I may just dip on out of here. No, it looks like Tycoos is getting aggressive right on these walls, pushing forward. Kaz right on the walls looking for the pre-fire. Taiku's looks like he does take down Who Fishy. So now we're back. Looks like a 1v1 situation, but nope. Now Kaz is going to relax.
Yeah, look, when it's a 1v1 situation and you're going up against a player like Kaz, you know that you're not gonna be as confident. Look, Kaz, an extremely good player when it comes to these pressure situations, and we're gonna see if he can perform here in this moment. This is game number 1, so sometimes you have those nerves, those jitters. It's all about getting those nerves and jitters out and taking this fight responsibly and smart. You see, he's about to be able to pick up Narwhal, and this is going to be the final chance he has. And it does look like Ty has rotated away, so Narwhal is going to get back into the fight.
So that fight took a long time, but I think the winners are going to be Taikzu, because he was able to walk on out of there with his teammates' cards and get to Pleasant before the other guys. Able to get one of the eliminations. The damage was already dealt. Now Kaz and Narwhal are going to have to deal with another situation of how do I get my teammate back in this game. Now we tune in with Zuck, Ecto, and Reese. A trio that has played well together. Not only have they made it to the PlayVS championship here, they've made it to round 4 of FNCS as well.
Yeah, so obviously performing at a top tier level in multiple events. So definitely going to be some standout players that we see here today. Now, though, you see Zuck, Ecto, and Reese just trying to get into the box here. These other players, you see Drippy down below. They have the power weapons to take this fight. They have what it takes to walk away. Now it's just a matter of making it happen, as it looks like teammates are starting to drop. Players are low health. Reese just trying to capitalize on this, as now shots are coming off from a distance. It looks like a third party is going to start affecting this fight overall. So Ecto, Reese, and Zuck, they're going to need to decide if it is worth it.
And with that Storm Surge damage below, we see right above the minimap, it says 132 below, and it looks like they keep just going down and down. That's because everyone else is dealing damage across the lobby, and these guys have dealt nothing. We do see Death goes down there in the feed. This is Dripsy 1K, another player that's been able to qualify for round 4 of tournaments. Oh, Ecto takes a big shot there, not able to connect anything back. Dripsy down below. Someone jumps right in his box. That's some big shots coming through, and this team's just narrowly above Storm Surge. Dripsy looking to get out of there. Zuck going through some builds here. His teammates are down bad. Reese is in a box with 2 players. He does get a knock, but no, he gets knocked himself, and now it's all up to Zuck.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Dripsy and Arrow versus Zuck. So definitely a change of events here. While they seem to have a bit of a disadvantage, Dripsy and team are able to kind of turn around and make something out of it. Zuck, though, going to be able to pick up Ecto. This is going to be a big adjustment here to the fight, because you already know when it's a 2v2 situation, it's at least a little bit more even. Now Zuck pushing forward, just trying to identify where Arrow and his team are. And it's going to be tough because of the distance here, and with these other players approaching, it does not look like this fight is going to end for either teams right now.
And Storm Surge is now taking effect here in this third zone. In the bottom right corner, you see the 3 out of 9. That is the zone that we're in. Then in the top left corner, the 87 out of 98. That tells us how many players are alive. Storm Surge will take effect until we get down below 70 in this third zone. So 16 players need to go down, and we see the damage coming through on the flop. This is a huge issue if you're a trio. When you start taking damage like this, it quickly runs out all of your heals. You just wind up wasting time and become easy eliminations if you're not careful. We do see they're going for potential shots here. They need to get damage dealt. Only 13 below, so one shotgun shot will help them, but it doesn't matter right now. The Storm Surge damage is going nowhere, and the other players are going down. T-Rone's going down. He is gone and out. It is up to EDP and Christie now to make some damage and get themselves out of the situation.
Yeah, when you are 26 damage below, you know that you only need one shot, and there is going to be that shot there for EDP. It's going to help out EDP as he takes a med kit. Oh, no. It is actually... Okay, never mind. It is going to help out EDP here. But now, at what cost? He has lost his teammate here to the other players. But now it's up to him to just kind of separate from the fight and try to make something happen. Because now, if you're not careful, you're going to end up with all 3 of them on top of you. And I think that's what we're seeing now.
Now we're seeing a fight continue here with Dripsy 1K well above Surge, but one player needs to go down, so Surge is affecting a trio, and we see Arrow, Strifer, and Dripsy continuing this pressure. I believe this is still a fight there with Reese and Zuck. This has gone on for multiple minutes now, and both trios losing out on a lot of HP, a lot of time. We do see Zuck just hiding here in the builds. We've finally gotten below that 70th Surge. But at what cost? How many players had to go down because of that Storm Surge mechanic? Now, you got to start thinking. You've already lost one match. You got to think of a plan to get that damage, especially when we're starting at 87 players in Zone 3.
Yeah, and looking at the situation, I mean, you saw how many players dropped there. The elimination feed just zooming through as now Arrow takes out Zuck in a very, very drawn out fight. Hopefully it was worth it, but you already know between us and what we think those mid-game fights and those elongated mid-game fights just aren't worth it. But you see players still actually rotating through the storm here, and it looks like Narwhal is looking to take advantage of that.
Narwhal looking back, waiting to get some shots here. Might be waiting for his teammates as well. They wanted to line up that 3-2-1, some big shots coming through, and they are going to be able to get that elimination. And that's a good example of sometimes the first shot is not the best one. Sometimes waiting a second to get some better ammo or some lined up communication with your teammates will get you those easy eliminations, as we just saw there. But well done by this trio. Kaz was the one that got the final tag on that. And now, Narwhal, Kaz, Who Fishy, moving on into zone, and it looks like it's wide open. This is going to be a fourth zone with a lot of players on the outside or on the edge right now.
Yeah, and it looks like it's not going to be the edge for Narwhal there, because they're going to be able to rotate pretty freely over into zone. And that's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds. But look at this. A northern zone here, both Gun and myself predicting southern zones. And I would even predict or say that this is more central, to be honest. The position of this zone is quite nice in comparison to some of the zones that we saw yesterday. And it's nice to see these trios rotating early. You really need to worry about position and pay close attention to your positioning. Otherwise, you could find yourself in a spot where you just don't want to be. And you see Smite now building up, getting a nice little spot here in zone. And now it's all up to this trio to step up to the plate and make some things happen here in game number 1.
We do see Smite is another player that's had a solid season with his trio. Not the same trio he's playing high school with, I don't believe. They land stealthy, I want to say, in FNCS. Not sure where these guys are landing here today, as we do see Arrow able to get a knock and a finish there on the Antics. Strifer, Arrow, Dripsy having a great start. 4 elims early. This could be another free one. They don't know that player's 1 HP, so they're just going to keep moving on into zone. They got to focus the rotate over anything else. With so many players looking at them, we can just see that mass of names in the distance that are going and pressuring these trios as they rotate in late. This is why you want to grab position early. The later you move, the more people are based up, looking at you, waiting for you to move in and punish.
Yeah, and punishment is what is taking place here, as now Arrow just still struggling to make his way in with his team, and they're getting tagged up. Again, we talked about how those mid-game fights can affect your overall game, and we're seeing it right now as Dripsy, Strifer, and Arrow are just struggling to make their way through. Fortunate for them, though, they are going to pull this next zone in their favor, which is huge. The lack of mats that they're going to have to spend is going to be a huge save, because they don't have to rotate too far. Narwhal, though, looking to try and gather some intel. Understand, guess what? They have zone, and when this team has zone, they're about to apply some pressure.
This is just not fair. The most skilled trio, in my opinion, in this play versus championship is able to get height on the first game in fifth zone. I mean, they are that good where this should be not an easy victory royale, but they are good enough where I would expect them to take this home. And hey, look, there you are, Panda, barely hanging on.
There I am. Listen, I gotta love and show support for all the pandas out there. We appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Sleepy though, looking to just try to control the scenario here. Remember, rotating late, like we're seeing here from Sleepy Prism, or rotating early, I should say, is important. You do not want to get yourself caught up on top of a bunch of other players, like we're seeing happen to Cosmic, as Cosmic is struggling by himself to make his way over to zone. He's on the furthest point. He's trying to recycle as many builds as he can. Only 7 builds remaining in the inventory, so it's all about just trying to survive here. Ooh, and I thought for a second he may be just going straight for that box, but no, he is going to find a way to get in, but not without running out of material first.
Oh, and Cosmic goes down. I mean, that was only a matter of time before those guys were going to find him, and we see Narwhal, Fishy, and Kaz. Looks like they either have given up the high ground or have dropped down, waiting, and moved to a different position. We see 6 zone now going to pull away from them, so this is an opportunity for another team to take that high position. Kaz, yes, was still up there. Nobody came to their side. They owned this entire side of the zone besides Leroy and Aqua down below. Fishy continues to move on through, and now Brede and Co. may be one of the teams to contest them for height, but not going to happen thus far. And once again, this trio back on high ground, putting themselves on front side of zone, looking back to punish that single trio, or it looks like a duo that has moved over all the way to their side. Now, it's just own, hold, and feed the machine that is high ground.
Look at this, man. We talked about it yesterday, and now we're seeing it here in a trio format. High ground being such a dominant factor here in these games, and Fishy doing a great job of keeping them connected and moving forward. You see Narwhal still has 83 builds in the inventory as well. Definitely a lot of material to work with, and that bow. Oh man, the stink bow raining down on these other players, getting tags off left and right. Now it's all about getting the shots off as a team. They're just going to try to get some eliminations here. It looks like they got some significant tags. Nothing fully connecting into an elimination, though, as we continue on. And Blue plays, though, on a mid-ground layer, just taking some shots off in the distance. Nothing really connecting. They look to trying and continue to move forward, though. They are in the zone, but they are not in a comfortable spot at all. They're going to have to press and continue on. Looking at this, though, there are still 26 players all on top of each other, and a few of the players just appear right behind. Blue Blaze goes down. This is not the situation you want to be in, as Snakesy and Jackhammer have to make something happen.
You got to give that up, and Narwhal goes down to try and make a play, but he pays for that with his life there. He's going to get eliminated and go back to the lobby. It's all up to Kaz and Fishy right now to try and take this home. We do see they're going to try and grab the loot there from Narwhal, but the lobby is quickly eliminating itself as trios, solos, duos all are running into one another there on the low and mid ground, battling it out with those shotguns, deciding who gets to own layers and who is going to rotate first. We see Sad and Vitamin still alive here. 7 eliminations, a great position in this zone on front side. Materials looking super healthy. This trio should be able to get an easy top 5 placement if they can hold and dominate a layer. Materials are traded there. Looks like Sad's going to be the one to tarp ahead. They're using some old builds, luckily finding their way through some old builds of their own. This is a great position to be in, especially the fully built metal, but an even better position to be in is Fishy and Kaz up on the high ground. The AR ammo is looking good, so they should be able to continue to spray on down.
Yeah, and look at that. The pressure is on. You see Vitamin just down below. We're watching them from that mid-ground angle. Now you see the high ground just pressuring down. Sparks and Forgiven just trying to stay alive as well. Ooh, and there they go. Spark goes down there in that final moment. Kaz still applying pressure from the high ground. He's just trying to get some shots off where he can. Look at that. The Harpoon plays have been so effective here for this trio. This is why they've been able to hold the high ground for so long. But will they be able to sustain it?
And it looks like Zeth, John, and Fades down there on the low ground are a full trio, so they are still alive, maybe going to be able to make a play up onto the high ground. And Fabled Taco is still a full trio as well. Multiple full trios navigating through these old builds. This is one of the harder zones to close out when you're on high ground with all this stuff in the way. We see Kaz putting pressure down, but it's going to be the clash between trios on the mid ground that are going to get eliminations. Vitamin, Sad go down right there. We see Pencil Bob running in to an engagement. Ooh. Big shots coming through. He's going to get that knock. The elimination coming through shortly after. Pressure coming on from up above. That was Death that goes down. Kaz is pushing these players down and down and down. Now, can anyone stop the high ground domination?
Man, here's the thing, right? Kaz actually goes down there. You see Kaz goes down, not without getting a few eliminations there first. And it looks like now it's just two teams remaining. Who Fishy being a player that's remaining. He's going to go for the medkit play. Definitely going to be able to get that off. And it's going to be enough. Who Fishy, Kaz, and Narwhal take game number 1.
Well, I'd like to say that was a surprise there, Panda, but really well played by those guys. When you get 5th zone, you get 6th zone height position. It wasn't given to them. They went and stole it. Now, able to close that one out, and even if someone had a little more HP, didn't matter. Who Fishy, he was hitting that med kit. He was going to win that heal off.
Yeah, he definitely was going to win that. I definitely couldn't see where that was going to go, but let's dive into some of the action we got to see here in game number 1 through this replay, because there was a lot of action taking place early on in this game.
So many fights happened early, and a lot of these fights prolonged for a long period of time, which made it difficult. We saw Cosmic just trying to hide right there. It's unfortunate for him. Some continued engagements here on the mid and low ground in these moving zones. There's just absolute chaos, right? Just the absolute nuts that is low and mid ground in these tournaments. Some teams able to dominate them. Narwhal unfortunately going down there. Vitamin picking that one up, and those two played really well. Vitamin Sad had a solid first game.
Yeah, they put up several eliminations there in game number 1, so that's going to put them at a nice spot there on the leaderboard, especially after all the placement they were able to secure. You see, though, Pencil Bob trying to survive on this layer, and man, the shots coming off with that tactical shotgun made all the difference. Kaz, though, stepping up to the plate, and at the end of this game, walking away with 7 eliminations. That is insane to think about, and you see the shots continue to come off as Kaz, barely alive, gets knock after knock after knock, and here it is. The final play of the game, the Who Fishy medkit heal off works in his favor as the other players down low go down.
I was just nutty by those guys, and we got to see Kaz put on a show, just going down to the players forcing themselves in his box in the AR spray. But big game 1 by Narwhal, Kaz, and Who Fishy. Expected them to do well. They come deliver here in game 1, but not every game they're going to get this 5th zone. Not every game are they going to be able to hold high ground. We'll see if they can continue to do it in these next few games.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to see that here, but not without taking a break first. So make sure to hang out. We'll be right back in just a few. We are back to the Play versus Spring 21 High School Championship featuring Fortnite, and you already know it is trios. My name Panda. Joining me again is somebody's gun here. Going into game number 2, game 1, exciting action and high ground dominance. Do you think we're going to see that repeat in game number 2, gun?
I don't know, man. They played so well there in the first match. We'll have to see. I would assume they're on top of the leaderboards, but did anyone slay out and take them over for that first spot? Don't know, especially with the 7 elims. No, they hold a solid 13-point lead over Fabled Tacos, Truth, and Pencil Bob. Then we see Sad, Vitamin, and Stacks rounding out the top 3. Death, John, and Fades there in 4th, and then Sora, Mondo, and Dev in our top 5.
Look, there's not a huge difference here between 1st and 7th, right? Or 1st and 10th. You look at the point difference here, 42 points to 77. Not as crazy of a difference as we saw yesterday, but still a dominating lead to have here just after game number 1. Now diving into the second page here, the leaderboard, looking at everything going on. Some other great names here. You see Belty, Props, Jeremiah, Ghosty, Brady, and Zalzo. Some players that we've seen kind of perform throughout all the Play versus weeks, and now trying to step up here to get one of those top 8 spots.
And we'll have to see how they are able to manage. You know, game 1, kind of you try out a strategy. It may or may not work. For some of these teams, it worked out beautifully. For others, most of the lobby, it did not work out well. So we'll have to see if they're able to close it on out. And here are some of the trios that, hey, whatever you did, game 1 didn't work. You either have to execute better or you have to give yourself a different plan of attack in game 2 throughout the rest of the tourney. Sometimes it merely comes down to that pure execution, Panda, which, as you know, is quite difficult in this very high-skilled game of Fortnite.
Yeah, look, game 1's done. You've gotten the jitters out. It's about shaking it off, feeling comfortable, getting ready, go into game number 2. Mistakes were made for some of these teams. They need to identify those mistakes early on and continue forward. It's all about refreshing the mental here in game number 1. You've gotten the nerves out. You're good to go. Let's see some continued action here going into game 2, game 3, game 4. Listen, this is it. This is your first chance to make those micro adjustments to your game plan. You know what? You might have to make more changes after this, but go into game 2 strong. Understand what you need to do and move forward. Now, we did some zone predictions last game. Somebody's gun. Where do you think that zone's going to end up in game number 2?
Going to Holly zone. I'm thinking Holly is exactly where we're going to see it. What do you got?
Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit different. I think it's going to be closer to Boney Burbs is where we're going to see some of those final moving moments in game number 2. So I'm excited regardless. This is going to be a great game. We saw so much action. But my next question for you here, Gun, is this. Okay. Will we see a repeat game for Who Fishy, Narwhal, and Kaz? Or will somebody else step up to the plate and take that number 1 spot?
So I do think they will win another match. I don't think they win match 2. I think we'll see a surprise winner here in the second match. Too much can change. There's a lot of things that can go wrong that can prevent you from winning matches. And I just think that there are amazing teams in this as well, besides the guys who were able to win that first match. One of them is going to take this game here.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to agree with you. And you see, we're actually diving in with our game 1 winners, Narwhal, Kaz, Who Fishy, and it looks like they're taking advantage of Pleasant Park. A great POI here, and it looks like they have it all to themselves.
They do have it all to themselves, and that's a sign of respect. If I'm being honest, I do not want to take this trio on, regardless of who I am. We've seen Kaz and Who Fishy go at it with their FNCS trio here at Pleasant Park, and it's been an absolute battle there in round 3 and 4 for these guys. So we'll have to see if that continues. Is anyone going to try and take over Pleasant Park? You know, they have those bunker chests both right inside of Pleasant and then up to the north near Stealthy. Now we're tuning in with Jace, and it appears they've decided to land a different POI. Previously, we saw this team, I believe they were down at Slurpee, where Jace went down early, and now trying to grab a little bit of loot from Lazy. And unfortunate for these guys, because this loot is not going to be good, and they're going to have to bail on out.
Yeah, it does look like they're going to have to disengage. That is an unfortunate situation for them. But speaking of unfortunate situations here, Logjam struggling as Zippy is left alone. They're trying to identify where he is. And now the shots are coming off. He does get the knock there, but will it be enough? No material there for him to build, and it's not going to work out as Zippy goes down early here in game number 2.
Man, oh man. If only he could have solo clutched there. A little bit of 3v1 action, but not happening right now. Now we see these guys are able to win the logjam. They'll walk out of here in a great spot. Might even be one of the players that rotate over into Slurpy Swamp. And perfect transition here as we see Panda going for some loot. A wonderful POI if you want to get tons of shield, as well as easy access to different mechanical parts. And we've seen different trios put together strategies and paths to get that slurp cannon. I don't know anyone's going to grab it today, but it is a huge advantage to have that slurp cannon in your back pocket. It's just unlimited heals that are going to give you so much extra to take damage from, and you can take much more risks when you have that in your back pocket, knowing, hey, you know, I get tagged once or twice, doesn't matter, let's just use the slurp.
Well, listen, we know the power of heals here in Fortnite, especially in this area in Slurpy Swamp. You look at like situations similar to what Cray did and that strategy. I mean, the heal game is important, and you need to make sure you're balancing your loadout with heals. I think a lot of times we find players, they're overextending, or maybe they're aggressive players, but they do not have the shield or the med kits, etc., in the inventory to support that aggression. So they need to be smart about every step they take here in this game.
And we do see they are going to Steamy Stacks, and it looks like they have it all to themselves. Another great POI to have unlooted because of all of those bunker chests nearby, as well as the bonuses. You have a potential upgrade if you go south, another upgrade if you go over to Craggy. So lots of opportunities to get better weapons. And now we tune back in with Unreal, Pablo, and Temper right here at Risky in the middle of the map with basically unlimited mechanical parts.
Yeah, look, if you are planning to upgrade to the pump shotgun, you need to land somewhere like this. You see all the vehicles located close by, giving you those mechanical parts to get that makeshift upgraded for you. Now, though, it looks like Panda is looking to creep up here on Mist and his team. So it looked like this might be a quick wipe here if they get the upper hand early on in this engagement.
Shh, quiet. We wait for the first shot. It's going to be patience that is going to pay off if they can get a big first beam here in this engagement onto Elite, Brev, or Brafey, and Mist. UD almost hits it. Now going to go for it, only going to get 30 damage. That is not the big first shot and the sneak that you want. We do see Accelerate coming in for a big flank here. Might be able to sneak these guys, but it looks like Elite is down there in a bush, and Accelerate is far behind. He's not close to this engagement, and not a ton of help if these players get jumped on.
Yeah, and that's the last thing you want to deal with. It looks like there's quite a few players close by to, or not too far away in this Slurpy Swamp area. So if they're not careful, they're going to get third-partied as UT just pushes in. This is a dangerous spot to be in as well. They don't have control of the builds inside. And if they're not careful, they could end up getting tagged up unnecessarily. So he's going to have to play this smart. You see UD immediately backing out here, just trying to get some tags off from any other angles. And there's really not angles appearing for this team, but the pressure is on. UD does take the wall. He is looking to try to take any shots. Now the AR shots are coming back at him, and now he's being a little bit more cautious. Look, you get tagged up once, twice, you have to re-decide, is this worth it?
And this is a very dangerous position to be in if you're UD. Now he's all by himself in this building. If the players jumped on him, he could have went down early. Luckily for him, not going to happen. He's looking to box this player, doesn't connect on any of those pieces. Now it looks like the opposing team has taken high ground. UD is getting beamed up big, and this is where Accelerate needs to be here. We see UD getting tagged up big. Panda goes down once again, and now Accelerate's caught in a separate 1v1 here. Now it's Yudi who needs to make a 2v1 player. Accelerate needs to win his ones quickly. He's going to take some shots here, able to get damage done, but not enough. Accelerate continues to get tagged up. 4 builds left. He goes down to fall damage, and there's another trio walking in.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about before. There were other teams that were close by, and listen, you start fighting and you can't take the fight quick. Ultimately, you're going to get third party with these players close to you. We did see some Orog fans in the chat. Well, here is your time. We're watching the trio as they creep up here on a mist. Now, will they be able to make something happen here that Yudi was unable to do?
And it looks like Jolly, Cozy, and Orog gonna take what they can get and get out of there. Now we're checking in with another engagement with Spook, Quack, and Fishy. Fishy? You think that's Fishy, Panda?
You know, the only thing that's fishy is that flopper in the inventory. But with only one there, I wouldn't be very confident in being able to get in. But oh no, talking about getting in, somebody dives straight in. It looks like it's Vitamin. Goes straight for Sora. Does get the elimination on Sora there. But Baby Dev said, no, I'm going to get a tag back. I'm not going to go without a fight. And this fight is ensuing. It does look like he has a lot of control here. He should be able to disengage pretty comfortably and start to heal up here in these final moments.
Baby Dev hitting the edits, but not going to be enough when multiple players jump in your box. It was clean with it, but only so much you can do with the full trio on your walls and just spraying you. That trio goes down. Now we tune back in with Taikzu, Nevify, and Jasty up against Spook, Fishy, and their third.
Yeah, look, this is a team that we did see a little bit of Ty in the last game, but not a lot. Oh, man, but Ty, we cannot count him out. The assault rifle just beamed that other player. Nevify now having to take his 1v1. It does look like he's going to be able to. He does get the full knock there. Now, they have every advantage in the book gun. Will they be able to capitalize on it? That's the question here.
No more questions. It's over and done with at this point now. They're dancing. They're celebrating that one, taking it home. We see Jasty, Taikzu, and Nevify. They landed up to the north side last game and then had to fight this trio that we're now tuning in with, Who Fishy, Kaz, and Narwhal. Decided to take a different path, not putting themselves in a position, and now it's Dripsy 1K and co in this engagement against Who Fishy, Kaz, and Narwhal.
Yeah, and you saw the Pepper plays right there. You cannot deny how strong the Peppers are as Narwhal starts to box fight this other player. Looks like he was getting some of the real estate, but no, he did not get full control. Kaz coming around the backside, just trying to be here for support. It does look like he actually gets a half bot. The shield is looking good here in Kaz's inventory, so they are able to take these mid-game fights pretty comfortably because they know if they do take some damage, they're going to be able to heal up fast.
And Strifer goes down. They take down the final player. And this is a full trio wipe for these guys. Able to move on through. That's the HP that Who Fishy needed. And another clean trio wipe off the rip for these guys. You can't get off to much better starts than what they're doing right now. Back to back. I guess they had a duo wipe and one of the players were able to escape. But winning your fights early on, not only is that key for your Storm Surge damage, but it starts to give you momentum. You feel good when you get those engagements, and then you just continue to power through other trios that get in your way.
Yeah, look, if you have the ability to push and dominate players like this, guess what? Go for it, man. There's 2 elimination points up for grabs every elimination here in this tournament. But remember, there is a cap, so you cannot get more than 20 eliminations in a game without losing the points. So if you get 21 eliminations, guess what? That one extra elimination isn't going to do anything for your tournament. So you have to be mindful of that in play. But even with a 20 elimination cap inserted here in this format, I think with the talent that we have in this lobby, we're not going to see eliminations get that high.
And now here's our second place trio going for the big 1, 2, 3 there onto Feneric. Able to get big shots, 1 shot away from taking him down. It looks like they're going to try and push off of this. Actually, no, playing this a little more patiently. Don't necessarily want to full engage on this fight. and a smart play, right? You don't get a knock. Your players aren't going to be able to quickly get that elimination. You don't want to waste all that ammo and potentially get third-partied when you're getting shot at. We can see on the minimap better than the players can. They have to visually see it, but we have the ability to see the minimap where all of these other nearby players are, and it gives us a huge advantage to know just how many trios are in certain areas, and we can see that right here.
Yeah, we definitely can, but it looks like, oh no, Fabled Taco, Pencil Bob, and TR are actually going to go up against Kaz, Who Fishy, and Narwhal. And this is a tough fight to be in, right? That is two of our top 5 teams battling it out right there on the edge of zone. So if they're not careful, somebody could go down early.
We see 12-inch ruler here against Kaz. Kaz just owning all the pieces, hitting his shots. Look like that's a one knock coming through. There's much more coming. The NPC, the Spire Assassin, is now in their way as well, and it doesn't matter who it is. They're taking him down. Kaz waiting to find an angle here, and we're right on the edge of Storm, so Kaz not too patient in this engagement. Wants to continue to push forward. We see Ruler going to be able to pop a big pot, give himself a little more heals, but Narwhal's going to say, that's it. That's all you get here. Who Fishy going up above. Ruler gets up. Now he owns the high ground position, but right behind him comes tags from another third party, and it looks like we see more shots coming through. His teammate getting tagged up big, and now this fight is 100% owned by Who Fishy, Kaz, and Narwhal.
Yeah, that's just absurd to think about. And there it is, Who Fishy getting significant tags off and does able to secure the elimination there on 12-inch, while other players are trying to get tags off in the distance. Now you see Beck just trying to survive here, and Storm Surge is still in effect, and it is going to take this trio out here as Brayday walks away with what looks like the elimination on that player.
Now we see another engagement. Looks like Sad and Vitamin are jumping in another one. They already have some elims, so in a good position, but picking up some more right here, and this trio just continuing to roll. I don't know that you can ask for better starts. Really good game 1, 5 eliminations to start, and Xylo quickly deleted. He just disappeared. See ya.
See ya later. Orog, Cozy, and Jolly just running through these players. 4 eliminations on the board so far. Definitely a good sign. However, what's not a good sign is they have to rotate. They are at a far point away from zone, and if they're not careful, they'll find themselves caught up in a situation they don't want to be in. You know, Guns, some of this Storm is a big factor here for these players. It is a big ticker. If you are not careful, you will end up taking some unnecessary damage here from the Storm.
And it will deal damage to you whether you want to or not. The Storm is inevitable, and now we see Fabled Taco and co holding these players. Some good shots coming through onto Christie right there. T-Rone continuing to go up, but they're sandwiched right in between trio number 1 and trio number 2, and it looks like Flop is going to go down as well. So this poor trio just picks the wrong position. Christie still narrowly alive, gets tagged up even more, and he's just looking for a small hope and a chance right now. I doubt that they're going to be able to escape. It's a matter of time until someone finds that last shot, and there it is.
There it
Taco
is.
cleans that up. Free loot and more elims for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough situation to be in. But what's definitely not a tough situation to be in, Kaz, Who Fishy, Narwhal, if you look, they have the same amount of eliminations they had in this moment that they had in the final few moments of the in-game last game, meaning that they've got a lot more eliminations on the board thus far than they did last time. So if they can couple that with placement, they may be able to take a dominating lead there on the leaderboard. Now, John just taking some shots in the distance here with Death and Fades, but nothing really connecting. You see these players doing their thing. They're just trying to connect wherever they can, but it does not look like anybody's really having too much success here in the mid game.
That trio finished in 4th, looking to have another solid match. We see Reese in a similar position right now, and This is the trio that I was talking about that finished in Fort Zijon, Death, and Fades. In that first match, they had a good game, not a great one, but I'll take it. I mean, that's really all you can ask for when you see the dominance that happened from the top few trios. Now looking to play a position and going up and up and up. Nope, deciding, we're way too far away from zone to play this high ground position. They're starting to check the trios around them. Shots coming through on the fellow rotators, and now we check out Focake, who appears to be under pressure on this rotation. On the backside, the absolute edge of Storm. He's jumping in the box, using the tack attack. He's getting in, and those are some elims. Take him down.
Oh my gosh, what did we just watch? With the uncommon tactical shotgun coming into play, and he eliminates those players with ease. That is just absurd to watch. And now they're able to get Zerks up as well. That is a big turn of events here for these players. But looks like John, Death, and Fades are able to get a bit of a refresh. This is the advantage of having a harpoon gun in the inventory. And I think we're starting to see a lot more players than ever start using this harpoon gun. So hopefully we will see that play a big factor there in the later rounds. You already know it played a big factor there for Who Fishy Kaz and Narwhal. When they held that high ground, they were able to get quick refreshes there with the harpoon.
And for me, the harpoon is a must. It must be held in these trio matches. You have way too many slots not to prioritize that. I don't care. Rather that than a bow in most cases. Unless you have like one shot left, then I'll probably take the bow. We see Jolly, Cozy, and Urag on the backside of that engagement. They're finally able to make it in the zone after fighting there on edge. We see Vitamin taken out there by John. So that is a top trio on trio trade right there. And now Jolly able to narrowly navigate through after a little bit of pressure happened. Nothing that's going to stop these three. Leroy, Aqua, right on the opposite side of the wall. Now we see AIM able to get an elimination, Mist getting one as well, and Narwhal and co. over at the hotel at Sweaty Sands.
Yeah, I mean, look, Narwhal, Who Fishy Kaz looking to set themselves up for a bit of a repeat play, although they do not have zone like they did last time. So they are going to have to rotate just a little bit to get position. So maybe not as easy of a high ground situation as they had last time. But nevertheless, they are probably going to go for it again. You see Jolly now taking some shots off on some different layers here. They are able to get some eliminations and a nice little refresh. The shot coming out, and players just jumping in front of shots as Aoken goes down.
This is a big match already for this trio, regardless of where they place. Racking up the eliminations early on with 8 already. I mean, not as many points as a win, but at this stage in the game, to have 8 eliminations, that's huge. It looks like Who Fishy is in a poor situation. He gets tagged up, down pretty bad. This trio also 6 eliminations already. We see the rotates coming through for Narwhal, getting tagged a little bit, continuing to focus on this rotate, put his trio in. Kaz takes over on the lead tarp. Gonna punish a player who was caught peeking. Everyone wants to take a shot, but it's not always the right time, and we'll get to see how Who Fishy, Kaz, and Narwhal play a different layer. Currently not on the high ground. We do see 2 trios fighting for it. There's Sad, Stax, who we've lost Vitamin, so that's only a duo, and then Antics, Riku, and Srio over on the opposite side. We'll see which side goes to zone and what the plays are going to be made and how they make them.
Yeah, look, Stax and Sad alive lost Vitamin pretty early here in this game, and definitely earlier than they wanted. But rocking the red superhero suits, they are going to try and make something happen, getting some tags off there on edge. And it looks like now they are positioned to hold the high ground. This could be a Stax and Sad high ground play. Is this what you want to see here, Gun?
It's exactly what I was looking for, investing in the high ground. We saw Edge was able to take it down, but no, another trio going for that height position. Ooh. We see a knock there on to Sad. Stax gets beamed up big, and now it's Nevify, Jasty, and Taikzu up on the high ground, and it looks like that was Kaz that hit that shot onto Sad. So we may see another contest here by more trios, and Taikzu already able to put down so many materials and strengthen this high ground position. Looks like Sad's gonna get picked up. But those two are now in a much worse position. Kaz looking up, seeing what's going on in high ground, playing this mid ground layer pretty well. We see Eden able to get an elimination. Narwhal looking for some potential refreshes. Trio gets tagged up big. He gets knocked, and that's one. Oh, but watch out behind you, Kaz. A trio in your tarp, and that's what you have to be careful of, is now moving to the front side of zone. Needs to heal up, but I don't know if they have any heals. Look at this inventory.
Yeah, this is a tough spot. It does look like Narwhal does have some heals in the inventory for him, but there it is. Narwhal, actually the one with the heals, does go down. Edge sneaking right behind the tarp there and does get the elimination there on Narwhal. They are also going to get the refresh there. Kaz desperately needed the meds that Narwhal's inventory had, but it looks like they're going to lose it now with only 6 HP in a dream. They're gonna have to make something happen. Listen, it's just the two of them left. They need to work together as a team, but I have confidence that Fishy and Kaz will be able to handle that.
And zone is pulling back, and we see actually Storm Surge taking effect. Snakesy putting down some big shots there with the AR, but it doesn't matter when you're 400 below. You have to get those eliminations. Fable Taco still alive, so our second place team still slaying out. We see Unreal picking up feed. Elims in the feed. Down go Kaz and Fishy. So now this lobby is wide open, and it's likely going to go to Taikzu, Jasty on the high ground. I believe their teammates Nevify, but right now it's Jackhammer who needs to make some plays here. Needs that refresh with barely anything in the inventory.
Yeah, look at this though. It was Civ not taking the meat. Oh, barely making it in. It looks like it. No, he ends up getting knocked. Now Prism looking to rotate as well. You see Fabled Taco. Again, one of our top 5 teams right here, still performing well. And there it is, gets the knock with the harpoon. What just happened? The shots are coming off. Now they're trying to get one more knock. The tags are coming in, but nothing is significant enough to get the knock and get the elimination in there. Another elimination here for this team.
And it looks like Nevify, Jasty, and Taiksu are just chilling up on the high ground. Aim and Smite are right there. We see Zijon still alive. Leroy and Jzo are on the front side of zone holding, but they're getting absolutely beamed. You're stuck in height. You're getting tagged up big and running quickly out of materials. We are seeing Truth and Fabled Taco narrowly navigate through these zones. No HP, but just enough to stay alive. Feneric able to get an elimination. Now it's Aim and Smite. They are going to be the ones that could potentially take this high ground position, and it looks like Feneric's with them. Jasty going down for some shots, trying to make some plays, get some eliminations. Taiksu up and on the high ground with Nevify, just spraying on down.
Just spraying on down non-stop. These are the final moments here as Fable Taco ends up going down, and so does TR. Ty, JC, Nevify doing such a great job of maintaining the high ground. Look, they might not have as many eliminations as some of these other teams, but they are able to stay consistent here and win out a great late game. Now let's see if they can get these final eliminations. There they are. Now it is a team versus team situation. Sure Aim just trying to survive here. Does look like he's going to go for the build battle up here on Nevify, and he does get it. Sure Aim, though, does not have the heals to out-heals Nevify. If you remember, he does have the floppers. He has a med kit in the inventory as well, so there's still so much potential here for your hill off. Sure Aim drops, but no, it's not going to be enough as Ty takes out Shorefy and gets Victory Royale in match number 2.
It doesn't matter how sure you are of your aim when Taiksu, Nevify, and Jasty are all alive, cleaning up that entire lobby. Well done by them to take height in 6 zone, hold it, and then just clean it up. Just take it home and say, hey, I knew I was winning that game the entire time. This is our lobby, living off spawn, and now going to be right up there in the top 5. What a game.
What a game indeed. Let's go ahead and dive into the replays. We got to see all that action. Let's run it back and check through some of the gameplay that we were able to see throughout, because that was a crazy game here, Gunn.
It absolutely was, and we see our winners of that match going and taking some elims early. Also, Zijon and Co able to get a little bit of refresh action right there, and all these elims coming through. I mean, Storm Surge was a pretty big factor here in game 2, not as big in game here in game 2. It wasn't as big as it was in game 1. We see Sad go down there on the high ground, and then the unfortunate scenario where Fishy and Kaz go down shortly after. But Fabled Taco, Truth, this trio continuing to place really well in these final moments.
Yeah, did such a great job. I gotta say, you look at the way that Ty, Nevify, and JC played together, played so smart, and you saw that you could definitely tell that there was some significant communication here going on between these players, because they seemed like they were just playing in sync. The shots coming out, knocking out short aim, and ultimately getting that victory royale.
A clean win for them. I'm interested to see exactly where that puts them on the leaderboard. Our game one winners went down fairly early in that match, but we'll tally it up for you guys. Don't worry, we'll take care of all the work. We'll see you on the other side.
And we are are back to the Play versus Spring 21 High School Championship featuring Fortnite in a trios format. Listen, Panda and Gun bringing you all the action here as we get ready for game number 3. And listen, what a first 2 games. They were super exciting, constant action, and a bit of a change of pace here in game number 2, huh?
Oh yeah, we saw a epic battle there for high ground and 6 zone. Everyone wanted a piece of it. I think there was 3 different teams trying to claim it. But let's see where our previous game winners wind up on the leaderboard. And here it is, the standings. Fabled Taco, Truth, and Pencil Bob up top. So the consistency, that's the key in Fortnite, is to be consistent. We see Death, Zijon, and Fades also able to stay consistent in that second place. And then our game 1 winners, Narwhal, Kaz, Who Fishy, right there in third place.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have to be consistent. It doesn't matter if you win a game, right? You need to remain on top of those placement points. Otherwise, you'll lose up that first spot. And that's what we saw happen here to Narwhal, Kaz, and Who Fishy. Although I gotta say, incredible performances from Sure Aim. Sure Aim holding on for dear life in the final moments there of game number 2, helped push his team up into that 6th place spot.
Now check out 11 through 20 here. Some trios. We saw Jackhammer there in the end game as a solo. He went down, and then Cozy, Ozzy, Orag, Jolly able to make it. Forgiving, Sparks, Mercy, Renegade, Dis, Flixie, and then Sora, Mondo, and Dev still performing pretty well. There's about a 40-point difference between 11th to 20th, so definitely room to make it into that top 8. But every single game that we go by, it becomes harder and harder to move yourselves up the leaderboards. And here's a few trios that either need to make a big move or make a change early, because at this point, it is becoming too late to catch up.
Yeah, and that's the last thing you want to have to deal with, man. You don't want to have a rough 2 games and then have great games following, but it still not be enough to make your way up into one of those top 8 spots. Because remember, if you do not know, the top 8 from today's championships move on to the Play versus Cup in early June. So they're competing for that opportunity at more scholastic and scholarship money. So they're definitely trying to make their way through into one of those top 8 spots.
No doubt. The top 8 are the big spots that you want to be in, and we'll see those battle out. It's going to be all 6 games. We've played 2. We got 4 more left for you guys. So we'll see if one team continues to pull away from the crowd, or if it's a battle between all of these top trios here within the next few games. There's a lot of people close to those top spots. We see the consistency of people like Pencil Bob able to stay up there and consistently make it to the last zone, as well as Death, Zijon, and Co. grabbing those consistent placement points, and then also securing themselves a number of eliminations, because the combo of the 2, that's what gets you where you want to be.
Yeah, it really does, right? The combination of the 2 is what has helped these teams kind of separate themselves from each other, right? You saw how well we saw Narwhal, Kaz, Who Fishy do in game number 1, but because they were not consistent in game number 2, they dropped on the leaderboard from where they were. So look, anything goes here. We're only 2 games in, 1/3 through this tournament, and now prepping for game number 3. We got to ask the question, are you ready? Where is this zone going?
All right, I've been perfectly wrong 2 out of 2 games, so let's go with a steamy stack zone, right? If I somehow get this right, I don't know, but Panda, what's your guess?
Okay, steamy stacks is where you're gonna go. I'm gonna say this one is definitely going to Caddy Corner. And that's not just because I love Caddy Corner. It's going to be one of those Caddy Corner style zones going in that the bottom right of the map. So I'm excited to see, regardless, as we get ready to dive here into game number 3. And look, the action is going to be insane. We've seen it happen. Game number 1, game number 2, back-to-back, just packed games. And that's what we're here doing. Play versus here, bringing you some of the best action in the Fortnite scene. And let's go ahead and dive in. Now you see Fabled Taco. It looks like we're going to focus on him and Narwhal. So our first place team and our game 1 winners both now just scrambling to stay on the top of the leaderboard.
Now looking like they'll be uncontested once again. There's a team going further up north. Steamy Stacks is where Fable, Taco, Truth, and Pencil Bob are landing. So zone will be pulling towards them. Our leaders will be getting zone. Could be a good or a bad thing. Panda, you're going down early again, as well as Jackhammer. So 2 players going down early. We see Udi and Accelerate here at Dirty Docks. I believe this trio is now trying their 3rd different drop spot, so don't necessarily have a plan for today. Not the best thing. Not where you want to be if you're just randomly dropping spots here.
Yeah, I mean, look, you don't want to be dropping down too much. And I got to say this, right? XO8, they did a really good job in that one fight they had in game number 2, the first engagement, but the second engagement, they ended up falling. So they need to be careful about taking these fights. While they did have a clear advantage here in this one, they still ended up losing a teammate. They ended up wasting time. And now it's going to cause them to rotate a little bit later than they maybe initially would have been able to. So they need to be more mindful of these situations. Fortunately for them, though, they are going to walk away with some elimination points as they try to progress through the rest of this game.
Now we see Jace holding this right-hand peek here on a Ghosty, just waiting for him to drop in. Does get some shots there, but it looks like they're going to trade pretty even damage. No one's going to come out the winner, or the pure winner of that one, as Jace continues to farm up. Looking like his teammates are a little far away. At least one of them, and the other's right on top making some plays for him. Love the support there to get your teammates jumping on to your head and helping you out. We see Jace, Josh, and Icicle now all together. It looks like Icicle is over at that Benji Fishy building. Oh no, he's actually right here. That is another player who is a similar color. Cosmic getting an engagement once again here at Holly, and again, not a great start for Cosmic, Muck, and Cuz.
Yeah, Cosmic has struggled to get some things done today. Unfortunate for him. But hopefully maybe Cuz and Muck are able to turn this around. They are trying to just take some shots off on this team, both probably not in a very significant advantage either way, because this is the early game, folks. There's not too much that you can do in these first few moments. So when you're taking engagement like this here, you really don't have any kind of significant advantage against your teammates unless you find something good. Don't get me wrong, it's possible, but it's definitely less likely. That's why you see Rico antics, even though they have one of the other teams or players down, they're still not overextending. They're not pushing because they said, you know what, I understand that these players are still very talented and we do not want to mess up our tournament at this point in the game.
And we do see some other engagements going on. Here's Peace Police in an engagement here right in Weeping. One elim already, so it looks like this is going to be a 2v3 at worst. Peace Police going to back off, heal up, wait for his teammates. Hopefully they take him down. Shio gets in the box. There's a knock, so this is now up to a 3v1, and I don't even know that I see the third player on this trio. They're going to go for the shake on Sleepy, but I don't see anyone nearby on the minimap.
I don't either. This could have been a wild split that ultimately resulted in them losing their teammate. Now, though, we look at Candle. Speaking of teammates going down, Candle and Zully both down, all because it looks like Blinky, the bot, was away. And unfortunately, another teammate came to play because Bot's teammate all down. Candle, Zully going down pretty early there in that fight. Now, it's up to them. Will they be able to survive? That's the question. We will get answered as we switch over to Unreal. Temper and Pablo trying to get into some engagements as well. Man, just a lot of action going on here early on in this game, Gun.
And it looks like Zuck is able to finish Blanky there. Icicle getting one on the Brede. And Unreal now looking to take the tops, put some pressure on. This is one of these mid-game engagements. Two split teams, one landing near Risky, the other one likely going near Spire. And just trying to grab all the loot that they can, run into one another, maybe running into certain damage, and Sora goes down. Unreal's now going to get aggressive and jump in this box. Teammates right with them. The pressure comes through. That's a little bit of a damage. Not enough to stop this engagement. Unreal continuing this pressure. Now a 3v1 situation. The edit leaves his opponent open for a shot. Takes it onto his teammate. And Unreal just going to heal up. Now we get to see if a 3v1 is possible.
Yeah, look, that is a tough call in trios. When you lose a teammate, it is tough to make a comeback here with 2 players. So props to them for trying. It does look like the other teammate might have been able to slip away. So props to him for being able to sneak away here from Temper, Pablo, and Unreal. But oh no, I am wrong, as baby Dev is in the fight still.
And this is only a matter of time here. Temper gets right in and boom. There it is. See ya. We'll catch you next time. But thank you for participating. We appreciate you. Temper, Pablo, Unreal, each picking up one of these eliminations and now in a really good spot.
Yeah, look, that's what you want to be, where you want to be, right? If you're early game and you can get a quick trio wipe with some points on the board, great. Now you got maybe a bit of a refresh, because this is the time, if you're going to take a fight, this is the time to take it, right? It's not necessarily right off spawn, but it's also not into like the real mid-game portion, right? So it's definitely better, but this is not a fight you want to take here if you're fishy, because Kaz is out for blood as he gets a quick knock there, and it's all up to young Spook.
Oh, and Spook is almost able to take down Narwhal, but when you have the assistance of your teammate, you have Who Fishy right there, just full spraying at one another. That's a nice, easy cleanup, and these guys, once again, picking up elims right off the bat. Another 3 elims right here in first zone, and we'll see what this trio decides to do. Maybe just bullying everyone nearby. It's like, hey, you may not land at our POI, but if you land nearby, you are going to be in danger, and we see the loot just absolutely plentiful with a extra gold tac shotgun and infantry rifle.
Okay, yeah, that's a loadout to say the least. I'm a big fan of the infantry rifle. We talked about it yesterday. Definitely a power weapon if you know and you have that strong aim ability. But look, if you're not Kovacsing every day, it might be a little bit tougher for you to use that infantry rifle. And we've seen some players definitely suffer with it yesterday. But today, maybe it's a change. Maybe we see some of these top tier players pick up the infantry and change their game around. Because again, when you can hit those major headshots with that infantry rifle, it is just such an advantage to have. Now, though, it looks like T-Raw just trying to hold on here to this wall as these players just continue to push forward on top of them.
They are playing well in these boxes together, but it looks like the power weapons are on the other side of this engagement. Zippy, Map, and Skigrawl not in the best position right now with their loadout. I do believe I'm hearing some purple or gold pump shotguns coming from the opponents here, but right now just sitting, waiting, allowing their materials to build, and here we do see Zurix up high, but no, big shots come through. The third party's helping out this trio down below. Now Zurix is running away, and he is in a poor position.
Yeah, but fortunate for him, he is able to get back with his team. So this is going to be a good or a better situation here for him, as it's Shore Aim and his team making their way towards these players. You see Devin taking shots there off in the distance, not being able to connect. They realize that, you know what? There's already still a fight going on. We're not going to be able to convert that into an elimination or into even a knock. So we just have to continue to rotate. Devin now going towards Smite, looking around. You see, at least we see, there are no other players here rotating in the same direction as them. So as long as Devin gets to play this out smart and plays it patiently, they should be able to freely rotate further into zone.
And it looks like everyone's going to take a page out of that book on the rotation game. Just decide, all right, the disengage needs to happen. We can't just sit here and fight forever. Zone is coming. Positions have to be our priority. And we see Aokin, Fokake, and Zurix start to move on out of here. That team down below them will be in a better spot. And now here's our second place team of Death, Fades, and Zijon. Already in Holly Hedges, looking to claim a building. This is beautiful for the refarm. You always get those extra materials. Allow yourself to base further up. And this is what you want to see, and this is what you want to do if you're a trio trying to claim a position early.
Yeah, definitely right. Look, John, Fades, and Death, they've done some decent work here in these games. You see 122 points on the board. That is really solid, obviously, with 129 points, in Kaz being just above That means they're doing a pretty good job so far. We know they're in the top 10 situation as of right now, but will they continue to be able to hold on to it? That's the question, as now we watch Reese and Ecto hold on after losing Zuck.
And they're fighting Goofishy, Kaz, and Narwhal, and it looks like Ecto, not in the best of positions, misses both of those shots. Narwhal goes down there, Reese able to pick this one up, and now it's a 2v2. Things have been evened up here as Reese and Ecto are now looking to change the tides of this engagement. Kaz has also been tagged up big. Ecto misses the harpoon shot and Kaz just escapes. He's like, I'm out of here. I don't want to be a part of this fight anymore. Ecto goes up, tries to find his teammate. He is back together with Reese here, but little to no materials on these two. Oh, as I say that, sharing the love. Thank you, Reese.
Listen, that's what it's all about, right? The communication, the sharing of everything that you have, because this is a team mode. Obviously, we didn't see a lot of sharing yesterday in solos, which is a good thing, mind you. But now we're seeing it here, and as it looks like Narwhal has gone down. So Fishy and Kaz left to fend for themselves here in this situation. They still have those players close by. And if they're not careful, especially considering they're not in zone, they could end up getting eliminated here pretty early in game number 3.
That's exactly right. And they need to either look to make a play here to grab Narwhal's card, or they've already gotten it and can just go over to Sweaty, hit the reboot, put themselves in a position to get that third teammate back up. They were able to get one elimination, but that trade honestly isn't really worth it when you only have one player, or you trade one elim for one player on your team. Not going to really be worth it, as we see our first place team, Fable Taco, Pencil Bob, and Truth rotating on pass. Good little rotates, using the builds, giving themselves a chance. And now they're going to start to look to take some shots back. Oh, okay, Fable Taco.
Yeah, look, Taco said, you know what? You're going to shoot at me. I'm going to shoot right back. And guess what? I'm going to be the winner of that aim battle as he gets significant tags off onto that player. Now Taco just needs to continue to rotate it. Yeah, it looks like it's actually Yudi and Panda right there in the distance. And that's definitely not a fight you want to take at this point. They still need to rotate. None of these players are in zone, as now Ty, Nevify are just trying to survive here with all these other players close by.
So many people hanging out here in Sweaty Sands. I mean, it is a beautiful day here for most of the east coast of the country. Maybe the first beach day if you're further south. So that's why we're seeing all this action at Sweaty Sands. Looking like Kaz and Fishy have scouted it out. Don't think the reboot's going to be possible. They'll be playing this as a duo. Truth and Pencil Bob going to rotate on behind them. And then Taikzu, JST, Nevify looking around, seeing what's going on as Ecto, Reese are on the gas station, also likely looking to make a play for that reboot, but I don't know that it's going to be worth waiting and then making a late rotate. We see Arrow taking shots there at Fishy and everyone coming out. Now tuning in to Holly Hedges.
Yeah, here it is. Holly Hedges and Fades Death and John just trying to convert something here as they continue to move in, because again, none of these teams that we've watched so far have been in zone, and I think that's why we're seeing a lot of these engagements take place as Shoreaim and their team just try to continue to survive. We saw Shoreaim hold on for second place in game number 2. Now they're just trying to hold on here as long as they can in game number 3. You see them really not taking any fights. They're kind of holding off. They're not even taking really shots back there at Death, Fades, and John. So it's going to be interesting to see how they continue to take this fight as more teams begin to rotate from behind. Now you see shots coming out from every direction, and now Fade's just trying to hold on to the top of this building here in Holly. But remember, they're not in zone. So they need to begin rotating here as quickly as possible, or they're going to get stuck up with all these other players here in the storm.
Yeah, slightly confused of what's going on with this play, right? Like, you see that you can make the rotation in, but I guess we're prioritizing some surge tags before we make the rotate. Storm is going to continue to move. We see another trio of Smite, Aim, and Devin continuing to move on past. Now, eventually deciding to make the rotate here, and Zijon, not many materials to his name. Gonna be in a poor spot. Hopefully his teammates, his friends, have some better materials and loadouts than he does. We'll get to see this Holly zone, who is on the absolute dead side here. That's going to be Kaz and Fishy right now, as we see Tubbs going down to Yudi and Panda, that combo. Now Kaz looking for some bow headshots. We know he can hit those. We've seen that before here, Panda.
Yeah, we definitely have Kaz being one of the most talented bow players that we've watched here on the broadcast. And it's just going to continue moving forward, man. Like, they know that they are down a teammate, so they're going to have to play this a little less aggressive. But nevertheless, they should be able to still hold on enough to hold on for a placement. But talking about people that can't hold on, it's Vitamin getting pressured. This is not the first time we've watched in this broadcast as Vitamin just continues to be the at the other end of victim, so to speak, of the pressure coming out in this lobby. And Stacks turns it all around, but it's not going to be enough as Stacks, Sad, and Vitamin go down almost simultaneously.
Sad. Just sad. Sometimes you're the chosen one, and it looks like that was the case there. Being the chosen one in Fortnite is not a good thing. Typically it is, but sometimes the lobby just decides, oh, hey, for some reason or another, I don't really like these people, so I'm just going to start firing away. Or, I may or may not have seen them get cracked with their shield, but that may or may not be true, in fact. And for those guys, it looks like they were in a pretty good spot, just made a late rotate, beamed up big, and it looks like we've lost Truth. So Pencil Bob and Fabled Taco have to hold on as a duo as Shio, oh my goodness, hitting the shots there onto Unreal, picking up the Elim. Peace Police, though, goes down, and okay, it's all over. Unreal's teammate's going to come and clean this up, get the card, but it's going to be way too late.
Man, that is a tough spot to be in if you're Pencil Bob and Taco, right? Like, you're losing a teammate early on. Like, it's not what you want, especially considering you're at the top of the leaderboard as of right now. You want to continue to maintain that momentum. And as you can see here, Pencil Bob, not a lot of health on him, 6 effective HP, and just now getting to put some minis on. This is going to be a tough rotation for them, to say the least. Now you see, though, Taco just trying to hold in as no, there it is, the bow shots that we talked about before, but it's not going to be Kaz that gets the bow shot. It's going to be Fluxy as Bob does go down, and another player appears. The shots are going out, exchange, and no, Taco does go down, and it does look like it's going to be Cullifer taking them down and getting the elimination points for Taco.
That is nuts. That team looked like they were just chilling. They were in a good position, and then out of nowhere, you leave one little wall open, someone finds an angle, and then down you go. Now we look at Eden, who is taking a peek what's going on. He's spectating, he's joining us, seeing where everyone's at, and it looks like Ruler and Bodicus want to go play the high ground position. A couple of trios are looking for it, but Eden's going to go try and knock them out. Looks like that was almost successful, but the connect comes through for their teammate, lagging behind. The good little team height play in Fit Zone. Now, it's you, Easy Kid, Edge 4, and Z1C2K up on high ground. So it looks like that trio we saw attempting to make a height play is not up there, as Death now takes down Temper. And, oh, here we go, right into that engagement. There's Temper, he's down. And Temper's teammate, Unreal, was just eliminated, so now it's a solo for this trio to potentially find, and love to see this, man. Panda, this is something that's been happening more and more. These players are grabbing the downed body and eliminating it in their own builds so they can fully take advantage of all of that loot instead of just trying to grab what they can and then run on out, which ultimately puts you in a poor position more often than not.
It definitely does. Look, if you're not careful, right, obviously you pick up the teammate, you throw it in the box, you pick up and get that refresh. It's nice, but sometimes people, maybe they accidentally hit the shakedown instead of the pickup. So you have to be super careful, and it's kind of like you have to practice it, just like anything else here in Fortnite. You have to kind of get in the routine of picking them up, throwing them in the box, and start utilizing it, but it is definitely an advantage to it. Like you mentioned, being able to hold on to the player, keep them in your box, and keep working with what they have is a huge advantage to have.
Now we see they're trying to decide who gets to use that pepper. Now we're deciding who's on the high ground, and it is Edge 4, Easy Kid, and Z1C2K up on height in a really good spot with zone pulling in their favor. It looks like it's Easy is going to be the first person to lead the tarp. Edge 4 is going to hold the backside, and I believe this trio knows what to do. Edge 4 is definitely a player who is of high caliber, has great skill, and we see him punishing players, peeking up at the high ground. Don't you look at my high ground, this is mine.
It definitely is. As you look, like, this team is not letting anybody come for the high ground, although it is kind of interesting, right? You see what they've been able to accomplish so far here in match number 3, but look at that inventory. You see the infantry rifle at play. We want to see some big tags come off there, but it's going to be tough to pressure people from the high ground when you're only using the infantry rifle. You know you can't spray with it. You know you have to be a little bit more methodical with your shots if you want to make anything significant happen. Now, though, you see John pushing forward and immediately running into some other players, now tarping away with his teammate and dropping down to a lower layer. This is very, very smart on his part, as now the pressure is on from the lobby, but quickly he is able to disengage, and they just continue to play together so well. Death Fades and that team are just going to step up to the plate as long as they can continue to play together very well. But let me tell you what, Kaz getting tagged up significantly. 61 effective HP on him. He does have some minis to refresh, but he does not have the time to do it. He has very little material left. Now Smite just trying to stay alive, and he was getting tagged up by not only Storm Surge, but Storm itself. Smite was definitely in a tough spot, to say the least. Fishy does get an elimination there. You see Fades getting an elimination in the elimination feed. You see Ty getting an elimination as well. This is a great in-game to watch. The elimination feed is flying as Kaz just continues to try and get shots off on whoever he can. And no, Kaz goes down. It is all up to Fishy to carry this trio.
That flick by Jasty was disgusting. Love to see that one. We see Fishy go down as well. And now it's Death, Fades, and Zijon just rotating on through here in this low to mid ground layer. They're in a great spot, but the materials are going to begin to dwindle. The refreshes need to come through. Already 8 eliminations thus far, and they continue to drop to own these lower ground positions. Taikzu still alive. Jasty still alive. But now we see other trios begin to move in, and Edge 4 and Co. up on high ground are continuing to own this position. They have just dominated. No one has even looked up at their high ground, but there are some trios nearby. We see Ruler, Nabus, and Bodicus nearby looking to make plays. Cozy Ozzy right on the backside of zone as a solo, just narrowly trying to stay alive. Jasty Taikzu looking to get in the box there. Cozy Ozzy down he goes. Now Leroy, also a solo. We have a trio and a solo all in this match. 3 trios, 1 solo. Who's going to take it home?
Oh man, that's the question here, as Edge and his team are still able to hold the high ground and just pressure down below. But another team we've been watching closely is Death, Fades, and John. They have done a really good job of holding the low ground. They're just taking shots wherever they can. Look at that, getting them playing as a team, getting in the box. They aren't able to convert anything, but they do actually get the knock. That is huge there as the shakedown takes place. Now, they just continue to maintain this low ground, but they need to start working together and pushing forward. You see them breaking through the walls. They have to continue pushing on. There's so many other layers still to this game, and this could be a big end game here for Death, Fades, and John.
Have a pop-off moment, have a pop-off game right here. He grabs the food, but it doesn't matter. They're going to eliminate everyone. Now it's a 3v3. It's height versus low ground. Who's going to be able to take this game? Edge 4 and Co. are in a good position if they want to pop a med kit, but no, the big shots come through and Fades goes down. They don't want this to go off to a heal off. They want to continue to take this. Down drops Edge 4. He hits the shots, but no, it's Zijon with the tactical shotgun. He goes for the shakedown and down he goes, but wait, someone is going for the heal off. Now Death is jumping on him and down he goes as well. Z1, C2K able to finalize that last elim and take home the victory royale.
Wow. What a change, right? Obviously, they had the high ground. They were doing very well, but you saw just the continued exchanges from these players. It was so difficult to tell who was going to come out on top, and it was, in fact, Z1 and his team able to take game number 3. Now, let's dive into some replays. Let's talk about all the action we were able to see in match number 3. I mean, so much took place. Let's look at it here as Taco gets eliminated fairly early in that round.
And we get to see the high ground plays here from that trio. Smite gets some elims, but not enough to stay alive at the last moment, with Storm Surge and Storm dealing the damage. So much chaos that happens in these mid-ground layers. Edge 4 hitting them shots, getting the elims, and these guys dropping down. So many players. I mean, they must have finished with at least double-digit elims. A huge match right there for this trio, and you can't ask for anything better. Only second place, but a huge second place to keep them up on top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, look, I mean, look, there was those final moments again as Edge, Kid, and Z1 come out on top. Look, what an incredible game, but there are still 3 games remaining, and we'll be bringing you all that action after a short break. Welcome back, everybody, to Play versus Spring 21 High School Championship Trios event featuring Fortnite. It is Panda and Gun bringing you all the action, and I have been informed. Don't you worry out there. It is Zick and you're easy. We will make sure we get that correct moving forward for you guys, but we got to talk about it, right? So much action took place there in the first half of these games, but there are still 3 games to play. Now is your last chance as a trio to make a comeback, make those adjustments to the mistakes maybe you made in those first 3 games, and ultimately come back and come out on top. Because remember, only the top 8 are going to advance to the Play versus Cup in early June. So you are going to have to compete at a very high level if you want to make it through. Now, let's talk about the leaderboards. Gun, who do you think is going to be on top?
I think it's got to be Zjon and Co. And yes, they are. They actually have a pretty significant lead. 30 points there by Death, Zjon, and Fades. We saw them. Look at that average placement. 4th place after 3 matches. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible, Panda.
Yeah, I'm honestly so surprised to see how consistent they have been. But like we mentioned before, consistency is what's going to carry these teams throughout this tournament. And that's why you see such a discrepancy between 190 points on top and 180 points in 10th place there with Cozy, Orag, and Jolly. Now, though, you look at the second page and, man, 11th to 20th, not looking as consistent as that front page. You see all the way up at the top there, 93 points there for Prism, Sleepy, and Civ. But down below, you see Sora, Mondo, and Baby Dev with 56 points. I got to say this, Baby Dev, Mondo, Sora, we've seen a lot of action happening with them, but they just have not been able to convert there with the placement points. So they might have some eliminations, but the placement just has not been in their favor.
Now we tune in to the bottom 10 of the leaderboard, and right now what we're watching is that 8th place. We're sitting at 116. That is Shore, Smite, and Devin currently sitting there in 8th place, and that's where you want to be. 8 and up will put you on to that Play versus Cup over in June, where you get to take on so many other trios battling it out for the Scholastic prizing. And what a great start. We're halfway done. If you guys enjoyed that first half, sit back, grab a snack, grab some food or a drink, whatever you want, your choice. We have some awesome second half action coming for you. And Panda, man, oh man, do we think the same people who are dominating this first half continue the second half, or are we going to see a huge switch up here in the next 3 games?
Well, I'm going to say this, right? This format is something unique. It's not something that we see in all the different tournaments being put on. So if you're able to master this format early on, you should be able to consistently hold on through the later rounds of the tournament. We saw it yesterday with Asian Jeff and him able to really remain consistent. He had first place in the first 2 games. He continued to get placement throughout the rest, and that's why he ended up coming out on top. And I think we're going to see a replication of that here in these trio games as well. Despite it being a different game mode, these players know how to handle themselves and what they need to do to remain in one of those top 8 slots.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I think people have proved themselves to be one of the best players in these lobbies, and we might see a couple of changes here or there that couldn't be tweaks, right? But you're not totally changing yourself as a player. You can't turn into somebody that you are not. So right now, our top 8, right, that I'm looking at it, pretty close between anywhere from 6th all the way down to 10th. There's some opportunities pretty close in points to have that switch up, but the top 3, those are pretty solidified as of right now. 3 games could change everything because they go down early in 1 or 2 games, and there's that opportunity that one of those trios have been waiting for to snag that, grab it, and then push themselves up the leaderboard.
Yeah, they definitely still can turn all of this around as we get ready for game number 4. Look, predictions we talked about. We've talked about a lot of zone predictions. I don't think we've been right a single time. Man, oh man, we need to get Levin in here if we can so we can actually predict one of these zones here. But let's see as these players drop in. You know what? I'm gonna say Narwhal, Kaz, and Who Fishy. I think they're due to get another zone.
You know what? I'm just gonna keep going south. It's the south side zone. if I keep guessing wrong, then you know what? I'm exactly right. I'm just the opposite of where I need to be. I'm just saying it wrong on purpose. Thought we were going steamy. It was anything but. And now Narwhal and Co. in a wonderful position here. Once again, uncontested. And I wouldn't expect them to be contested whatsoever after their performance early on. We check out Death, Z-John, and Fades here at Misty Meadows. And again, another uncontested trio. It's no wonder why they're doing well.
Yeah, look, we talked about it in some other formats, and now we talk about it here on this broadcast. But when you have a POI all to yourself, completely uncontested, it is such a massive advantage. That's why you see players and teams that have these clear and free POIs to themselves come out on top. And so it's all about mastering these drop spots and trying to find drop spots that are going to be uncontested. In a format like this, you are going to know the players that you're going to go up against. So do a little research. Try to find out who might be landing near you and create an exit strategy if they start to come close by.
And one of the cool things is that these PlayVS, Play Versus replays are available in game, much like other tournaments. So you can go in and watch and see what's happening as we tune in here to one of our more aggressive trios. Vitamin, Sad, and Stacks already picking up an Elim early on here at the Boney Burbs. Now we get to see them, grabbing another one. So now 3v1. This should be all but over. I mean, a quick 3v1, as long as they have the materials and ammo, is quickly going to end. And there goes Zippy. He gone. And everyone is now chilling. Time to loot up, get ourselves in a place to battle it out. But more battles are taking place right here as Mercy going down. And it looks like Sparks already eliminated. See ya, Mercy. So many trios falling out.
Later. Man, and it looked like he was operating as a duo there. It does look like maybe one of the players went down very, very early. So they went straight to a duo, then went as a solo. And look, when you lose a player on your team early like that, you're just not going to be able to recover as easily. We've seen it happen before. Some teams, they definitely can recover from situations like that. But in that case, it's just not going to work out in his favor. Josh, though, now getting some nice infantry tags there in the distance. Again, I am in love with the infantry rifle, and this is why. The tags you can get off from a significant distance is so nice, and it puts you in a nice little spot to push if you decide that you want to take that engagement. But for him, it looks like he's just going to continue to loot up here in Lazy Lake.
Just farming those Storm Surge tags. We tune back into Sweaty Sands, one of the places where we've seen consistent engagements, and Ecto right here going up against Zoli in this fight. We see Zoli getting pressured a little bit. Ecto looking for the pieces, is able to grab a lot of the cones here. He's doing very well to control this fight. Zoli is on the backside, getting pieced up by Ecto. And now we do find Zoli continuing just to get tagged. Ecto needs to clean this up quickly before his teammates can come support. There it is. Zoli goes down. We do see Zuck right here with Ecto. And now Reese getting pressured by the opponents.
Yeah, look, I got to say this, right? You see the shots coming off there in the distance as Candle just tries to turn it around, but Zuck with the bow shot just quickly eliminates him. Man, if you're Candle, you do not want to be over peeking up against somebody here like Zuck.
Absolutely not. And we get to see another engagement here. This is Sora, Dev, and Mondo. We saw them fight Unreal earlier, right at this non-named POI, this central map split, and it looks like that's that same trio that's getting in this engagement. Sora's gonna try and pop this big pot, and we see Dev way out in the distance, able to get some shots on, but he's not gonna be able to help much for Mondo and Sora right now. Luckily, Unreal, Temper, Pablo not gonna jump in right away, looking for some potential shots. Mondo back to 200 full HP. Sora at a good 163. So pretty healthy to take this fight. Just looking for opportunities. As now another third party sneaking on in. Eden right here waiting for an opportunity for some shots. And this could be it. Doesn't fire. Oh, Eden, what are we waiting for?
I'm confused, to be honest. Like, you see, he's got every advantage in the book here. Oh my gosh, and the massive pump shot comes off as Pablo has no idea that Eden was there. Eden being one of those double qualifiers here. He was in the solos event yesterday, now in the trios event. And it looks like now Baby Dev, Sora, and Mondo are stepping up to the plate. Mondo has done pretty well so far, and they just want to continue that momentum they have, but not when you go up against someone like Eden, man. Eden's such a talented player, utilizing those Stinkfish effectively to separate this team and getting some Unreal tags on Unreal.
And now we see Eden going in. Oh, but he gets tagged up big. Doesn't connect with those big shots like he did earlier there. Unreal is quite weak. Now Fnatic looking for the potential opportunities. 3 trios here. And I think D-Win's starting to call for a disengage. He wants to get out of here. Mondo gonna pick up Unreal. And actually Sora goes down there to Fnatic. So lots of trios. D-Win right there. He comes right back in this engagement. Mondo navigating through some of these old builds. We see Sora getting rezzed. Fnatic gets some shots there onto Mondo. He's down to about 50 HP, jumping in the box. Mondo can't hold him off, and the fire continues.
Man, Fnatic and Eden are just pushing through and dominating this team. It is such an unfortunate sight to see if you are on the opposite end, but for Eden and co, they're stepping up and they're just cleaning up. Sora goes down there as well. Now it's all up to Baby Dev. D-Win pushing up, and he gets the win in this engagement.
And now we see another engagement happening. So as the games go on, these players get more and more aggressive in these early and mid-game engagements. Nabus, Ruler, and Bodicus just holding off a couple shots coming in the distance. Nothing crazy. Do appear to be in a slightly poor position as far as overall shield goes, because Bodicus down with little to no HP. Now Nabus wants to find a shot, almost daring Beltsky to continue these shots. Oh, not going to connect on that one, but the bow is so strong. Got to be careful once you hear that coming at you.
Yeah, but that's the other deadly piece of the bow, is sometimes you don't always hear it, right? It's definitely quieter than a sniper rifle. It's quicker moving in a lot of situations as well. So you got to be careful when that bow is present. But you hear one shot whiz by your head, you need to start boxing up and play it super safe, or you could get headshot bowed and end up going back to the lobby. Look, that's not what anybody wants to do here, but to say the least, Naboo is actually just going to continue to now get applied pressure from 2 angles. See, this is what you have to be careful of. I get that 12-inch, this trio really wants to get some tags off on these players, but if you're not careful, you're going to get third-partied. Now, speaking of third party, you see Who Fishy, Kaz, and Narwhal are just trying to sneak up right behind Arrow and Strifer and Dripsy. So this could be an engagement waiting to happen, but they need to be careful of it, to say the least, because they're not in zone.
And it looks like they're just going to follow this rotation pass. So regardless if they're in zone, they're moving on in the right direction. It does look like these players are starting to jump and look behind them. Who Fishy quite a ways ahead of his teammates, so that's likely why he's being patient. We're checking to see what Zuck's doing right here in another engagement. So already won their Sweaty Sands battle and almost get into another one here. It looks like that was Reese goes down in this fight, and now Zuck looks at Jasty, Nevify, and Taikzu in this engagement, or former engagement, potentially looking to avenge his teammate. Here we go. Shots. Oh, take it. No. Zuck, what are you doing, man?
Oh, man. I thought he had the shot there, to be honest, but it does look like he hesitated a little bit. Because, again, remember, if you let them know that you're there and you don't get any kind of significant damage off on them, you're not set up for success, right? Especially when you're already down a player. So I get the caution, but you also have to step up and take the shot. Speaking of taking the shot, though, Narwhal in there taking some shots off as Kaz ends up taking quite a bit of damage.
And this engagement did start like we thought it was going to happen, like you alluded to, Panda. They couldn't miss out on the opportunity to take some shots here. Narwhal, Who Fishy, and I almost said Panda, and Kaz are here in this engagement. Arrow and Dripsy are cranking up right on Narwhal's wall. Kaz looking for some shots. Who Fishy and Kaz connect, take down Strifer really quickly. He is just eliminated in seconds. And now this is a 3v1 with Arrow and Dripsy up on the high ground. But Zone is going to force both of these teams either to take this engagement or get on out of here.
Yeah, I think the play is going to be to try and clean up the engagement quick if you can. But if this takes more than 30 seconds, they need to start rotating. They need to go fast, too. You see the Zone is pressing in on them. Who Fishy, Kaz, Narwhal above the damage threshold for Storm Surge. So this really isn't even about the Surge. This, if anything, this is just about the additional points here for the eliminations, as Arrow still maintains a good position in the high ground and Who Fishy begins to rotate.
Here comes the Tates on out. Everyone wants to move, get in a place where you can get in zone, and the rotates come through. Those players up above, Dripsy and Arrow, want to grab Strifer's card. That way they just have a hope and a dream they can be able to get up their teammate. Likely by the time that this zone closes, third zone, it'll be way too late. Now we'll see how Kaz, Who Fishy, and Narwhal are able to make this rotation, position themselves. Not using any vehicles. Lots of players walking around doing the left foot, right foot express instead of using the vehicles that are oh so valuable to get this movement.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. The vehicle is not being utilized to the same extent as we saw yesterday, but we also saw a lot of players getting punished for using the vehicles too. This is a different game mode, obviously, but still, maybe they saw some of the action from yesterday and they're like, you know what? Maybe I'll take my chances trying to run it in. But looking at people that are already in, you see Z-John fades in death. One of those teams we were watching very, very closely in the last game. Now focusing up here against Shore Aim and his team, who have done pretty well so far. So these teams just trying to stay up on top of the leaderboard. They need to keep that momentum going if they want to be through that top 8 slot. You see players all around these teams, as now Narwhal, Kaz, and Who Fishy are barely in zone.
This is an interesting play here, way up in the clouds, waiting for a shot here. They do get the bow, not the headshot you were hoping for, but still enough to get some damage, some pressure onto this team. And we see Narwhal take some fall damage. This trio is now going to have to heal up, and it might be very hard to do that with pressure on their wall. Kaz going to hold for a little bit. Only has a few more seconds before he can pop. Who Fishy trying to get in Storm. Not going to be able to do that. Neither is Narwhal. Storm is going to win this battle against this trio unless Kaz can make a play here. You do see those players go down in the feed, so unless anyone else was able to see that, Kaz might be able to grab these refresh or reses unless these players up above are just too much of an issue. Kaz going to go for it. But the pressure continues from up above. This is a really poor situation. Kaz is running out of builds. Who Fishy is gone. Now he has to get Narwhal, and it looks like this team's playing more aggressive. And Kaz once again spending all these builds. Narwhal's going to go down. Can Kaz 1v3 here?
You know Kaz has the potential to do it, but will he be able to? This is a tough spot for him to be in. This trio just relentlessly pushing up against Kaz as he just tried to get his teammates. He gets some tags off there. He does get a few shots off. He's going to try and deter this trio as much as possible. The key here is to separate them. He cannot take the fight when they're all together, but if he can split them apart enough, he should be able to come out on top.
Separate or sneak and look for shots. Might want to go for the reboot cards or just a big beam right here. Does get a shot there on a Renegade. Now going to back on off. He's got the med kit, so he can tank some storm damage. And I believe there should be more white heals below or med kits unless these players were able to grab it. Now the problem is you need to get into storm before it starts to 5-tick. You can deal with these 2 ticks right now. You can take the med kit. You'll have enough HP. But once it begins to 5-tick, when this zone closes, you got no hope. You have no shot of out healing that unless you just have floppers or your Cray chilling in the storm. And we see Renegade making sure that card, that's going to be useless to him.
Yeah, I mean, smart play there on Renegade's part. You know that the car can turn things around as far as rotations go. And you see Kaz right there in the storm just pushing ahead. as Dis, Renegade, and 5e just try to make it. Oh, man, and just instantly deleted the power of the infantry rifle here as Kaz gets deleted by Dis.
And this trio walks up on 3 easy eliminations. That was definitely a questionable play, building up that high, especially waiting in Storm for the big shot to come through. And then when you don't hit it, that's when this play falls apart. And now we see another trio. Zijon, Fades, Death. Here taking shots on Arrow and Dripsy1K, who we saw Strifer go down earlier. So this trio just looking for their tags. A little bit of a far rotate here. Arrow has gone down. Dripsy is just 1 shot away as well. He is just going to go down here shortly, I would imagine. It's not going to be... Yes, he does go down there, and these guys going to look to grab all of the materials before all of this... The grabs come in with those harpoons and pressure coming in from multiple different angles. Not a ton of mats, but now we tune back into another fight. And Fluxy getting shot there by Reese, and Ecto taking shots there. Zucker as well. Able to get the first knock, and now what else can they do here?
Yeah, you see 5e there. We just watched him, Dis, and that trio take on Kaz and Hoofishy. And now we see them immediately in another fight here with Reese, Ecto, and Zuck. And we got to say, oh, man, they're both teams that have put up huge eliminations as Ecto just begins to push in. Reese is down. Ecto and Zuck just trying to get some tags off wherever they can. It looks like now another third party is coming into play. As you see right there on the map, there is just a line of people waiting to make their way into zone with the damage threshold now in effect.
All of these trios looking for those extra shots if you're dealing with some Storm Surge. Does look like Reese is gonna... There's a res opportunity. He hasn't been fully eliminated yet. Now we check out Jackhammer, Blue Plays, and Snakey. And it does look like Reese finally eliminated there. These guys able to make it into the zone. Not in the best of positions, though. Especially with players right on your wall. And I would have to guess that is a team that needs some Storm Surge based on their aggressive play.
Yeah, Storm Surge, listen, Storm Surge is no joke. We've watched several players today and yesterday go down to it and be affected by it. So they need to be cautious and weary of it. If they are below that threshold, they're going to have to be active. If they do not feel comfortable with the damage they've been doing so far, they're going to have to be active. I mean, look, if you are one of these teams and you're not in a comfortable spot as far as Storm Surge goes, you're going to have to push, and now's the time to do it. But looking at this, though, it looks like Snakesy, Blue, and Jackhammer are going to have zone. This is a huge advantage here for them, and hopefully they'll be able to capitalize on it as the zone pushes in.
And that's one of those where you just post up, chill in your metal, don't make any edits. You tell your teammates you don't need to make any edits either. There's nothing we gained from that. Just hang out, get some placement here, and now Zijon and co starting to make this rotation. Not absolutely stacked on materials, so they're either going to have to find some refreshes here or go through old builds and check it. Who's up on Spire in the high ground? That's Xiv, Prism, and Sleepy. It's not in zone, so they might be able to build out. Nope, going to decide, all right, let's get on down. We could play a different position here. Should still be able to hold this natural height position as they move slowly with the Storm. Tuning back in with Zijon, Fades, and Death. Pushing some trios further on. This is how you bully teams to tarp for you. If you don't have the mats to tarp, just spray them with your AR, hit them with their shotgun, and force them to tarp for you. This is something that the trio of Miro, Day, and Reverse 2K do so well. Oftentimes, they'll have the materials and then just force trios to tarp for them anyway with all of their pressure and aggressive playstyle.
Yeah, look, when we're talking about top-tier trios and the way that these trios stand out to others, it is the Miro, Day, and Reverse Classic. But looking at the situation here, it looks like Death is going to go down, and Fade, it's all up to Fades and Zijon, as Fade is very, very weak. He needs to get back with John. They need to play together. It does not make sense for them to be too separated for too long, as now Fades does go down as well. So it is all up to Zijon. 46 effective HP in a dream, and the pressure is still on. Relentless pressure at that, as he just tries to take a med kit.
The creative style building is coming out as Nevify, Taiksu, and Jasty want to take height from this team. Exiv, Prism, and Sleepy, who are holding it previously, and it looks like Exiv and co are doing a good job holding high ground, but no, someone cones over them. Now a high ground is traded. Exiv gonna go for the chop, but no, he gets knocked, and that's Nevify that's winning that trade. Taiksu is up on the high ground. Jasty healing down below. The chop comes through, and I think they're all going down. See you guys, you're going back to the lobby. Oh, but Nevify is able to hang out. He's still alive there, it looks like.
Yeah, and I think even Taiksu was able to survive as well. Like that. Oh no, there it is. He has gotten the knock. And man, oh man, if Nevify can reconnect with his teammates, which it doesn't look like he's going to be able to, this could have been a solid game for him. But that's the name of the game, folks. This is not creative. People will shoot you out here in this live environment. So you have to be more cautious when you're taking build fights like that. You can't go up that high, especially when there's not other layers to catch you down below. Now, Jazo and Leroy, it looks like, just trying to survive as they take this mid-ground layer. They're doing a really good job of rotating around, but looking at the different structures here, they are going to struggle a bit if they don't start rotating. And there it is. Jazo right on the back of Storm pushes forward and gets knocked immediately by Peace Police. Now it's all up to Leroy. Will Leroy be able to step up? He does have the legendary pump shotgun in the inventory. He's looking to just kind of quietly make his way through as now we focus on Eden.
And Eden's team is popping off here. 10 eliminations already, still alive, getting back together as a trio. They are knocking players left and right. Another one coming through here for this trio. Stacking up the materials and then continuing this rotate, allowing themselves, starting to look up at the high ground, a potential height play, and that's Devin up above. That trio is putting pressure on Devin, Eden, and Feneric right here. D-Win down below, continuing the tarp. Eden needs to get back to his teammates to give himself a possibility to try and understand what's going up above him. They're separated here by a few layers, a few builds. Eden's playing as a solo. He takes a peek that he should not, gets punished for it. Edge 4 down below, getting absolutely beamed there by Smite up on the high ground. Sure, Devin, Smite hold the height position and continue to look for these elims.
Yeah, look, this is looking really solid here for Smite and Devin. This could be another big game. Remember, Shore Aim was able to clutch up and hold on and get a second place game earlier in this tournament. So now this could be a repeat effect here as they just try to go for their first victory royale on the day. Maintaining this high ground is going to be so important for them if they want to continue to survive. Smite almost knocks out his teammate there just a little bit, but the shots and pressure are coming. The relentless pressure applied there from Smite as he sprays down on these other victims down below. You see Eden just trying to survive as a solo player. He does have the cabbages. He's going to use the cabbages here pretty effectively. Gotta say, props to him for holding on to those cabbages as long as he has. He needs to now focus on making his way around. You see him taking Storm a little bit to get some shots off. He should be able to get the elimination on that player, and he does. That's a nice little elimination there. It's 2 points get added there for Eden. Eden gets another knock on Vitamin. Vitamin goes down quickly as now Eden just continues to dominate this low in mid layer.
An absolute pop-off match here by Eden. He wants another one. Doesn't connect there. Doesn't matter. He still wants it. He's coming for you. If you're on the opposite end of the wall, you are on the wrong side of his shotgun. He goes, hits the shot. Not enough for the elimination. But Smite, Sure, and Devin take that match. Not to be overshadowed, though, by that absolute pop-off there by Eden.
Look, we've seen some solo plays take place so far today, and I gotta say, the solo action from a trio perspective is so exciting to watch and see what he was able to do in those final moments. Look, we had so much incredible plays in that game, but I'm going to say this. High ground has been dominant thus far. So will we see more teams fight for high ground as we continue on? That's the question. But let's dive into some replays here as we focus up Jolly, Ecto getting eliminations there quickly. This is some good stuff that we've seen. Ecto and his team have definitely done a really good job. You see Civ and his team have done a pretty good job there, even though he got eliminated there pretty early. You get Sleepy, though, by himself, taking some shots. Now there it is, the man, myth, and legend himself, Eden, just trying to survive as he gets the knock there on Orag. Look at that, Sleepy surviving as long as he did with only 6 HP gun.
Man, just show me Eden highlights. That's all I want to see right now. The Eden highlights of him popping off in Storm, as well as just scooping up all of those eliminations. He played the cabbages so well. But this team, Shore, Smite, Devin, able to win this match. They were in it too. It's not like they were well behind one of our leaders. We'll have to see where they wind up here. But Eden, bro, like, look at this. My guy just pops off, almost able to get another elimination. That wasn't a full trio. I think Eden takes this one home.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there. I think Eden was doing a very, very good job of maintaining his layers, getting the eliminations throughout the layer, and continuing on. But look, it didn't work out in his favor, but still a great game nonetheless. And we cannot take away from Shore and that company. I mean, they did such a good job, deserving of the victory royale. And we will see who else comes out on top in these next two games after this break. Are you ready? Play versus Spring 21 High School Championship featuring Fortnite is underway, and we have had some insane games to start. I keep saying it, but it's true. Every game we've watched is just jam-packed with action, and we're excited to be able to bring you all of that action here on the Play Versus channel. So without further ado, though, let's look at how these teams perform. Gun, who do you think is going to be on top here of the leaderboard?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not looking. I'm gonna probably go with Z John and Co. No, okay.
No. What a turn of events here, as Eden's consistency has now put him up on the top spot. 237 points is no easy feat, and he was able to do that. And you look at the leaderboard, you got Death, Z John, Phage dropping down to second. You got Jazo, Leroy, and Aqua in third. You got Edge, You're Easy, and Zik in fourth. You have Shore Aim, Smite, and Devin in fifth. You have Taco, Truth, and Pencil Bob in sixth. Sad, Vitamin, Stacks in seventh. And in eighth place, what a fall from grace, Elite, Narwhal, Kaz, and Who Fishy dropping down from first place in the beginning down to eighth. They're going to need a quick turnaround if they want to stay in this and stay consistent. Now we dive into the second page. You see so many other players on this name, but you also see in 20th place, the points really haven't changed much.
Yeah, staying about the same. Again, 11th is about 50 points back from 8th place, which is where you want to be. And the trio that we've seen fight a lot in this early to mid game is Unreal, Lupian, and Temper down there in 20th, as well as Strifer, Arrow, and Dripsy 1K. Both of them seeming to struggle to make it towards end game. Maybe these mid-game and early-game fights are not what they want to be doing, because it's putting them in questionable positions as we move forward in each part of the map. Let's check out the bottom of this. We see Reese, Zuck, and Ecto, who have had an up-and-down day, but obviously not too much right now. We get to see a few other trios, but again, about 100 points off of that 8th spot, where you want to be to advance into the next round. And you got a lot of work to make up in just 2 games. I mean, most trios have not gotten 100 points thus far. The fact to do it over 4 games, and then now you're trying to do it here in 2, good luck, guys.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a big shift here in the top 10, to be honest. I think it took a lot to get to that top 10 spot, and we've already gone through 4 games, but now it's all deciding if you want to move from one of those spots like 9th or 10th into a top 8. Now's your opportunity to do it. You have 2 games remaining. You need to be on top of everything that you are doing. Consistency shown to be so important here, as Eden and his team have now been able to take that top spot.
Yeah, no doubt. After that huge pop-off moment by him, I mean, we'll be seeing some more of that here at the end of the tournament, I would imagine. Now, can they hold it? We've seen them hang around that 10th spot the entire time, haven't necessarily popped off like they did in that final match, or previous match, or my apologies. Now, are they going to be able to hold it? Is what they have enough to hold top 8 in the final 2 games? Lots of questions. The only ones that have the answers, though, are these players, and we're going to be jumping into this game here shortly, determining who is the best of the best here in NA East, going against all of the best high school talent that Play Versus has to offer.
Yeah, remember, guys, they went through rigorous games throughout weeks to get to this point, and now they are here, and they're competing against the top players that made it through all of this Play Versus spring season. So this is amazing to see, and now they're fighting for their opportunity to be a part of the Play Versus Cup here in that first week of June. So again, lots of great stuff happening. Super excited to see who's going to be out here on top. But I gotta ask, Gun,
no.
We've talked about it. Here it is. I don't think we've gotten still a single zone correct. What zone you rooting for here in game number 5?
I mean, at this point, I'm better off going to the lottery if I want to win something. Gonna go, Slurpee zone. We're gonna see a Slurpee zone here.
Okay, I can get behind that. All right, I can get behind that. A Slurpee zone is what Gun is gonna say, and again, I'm going to say that we're going to go closer to like a Holly Hedges, a west side zone, but not quite as south as Slurpee. That's going to be my opinion, but we'll see how that unfolds as Eden and Feneric are dropping in to Colossal Crops. And this is a drop spot that we haven't got to watch too much off-spawn action take place at, and that would be because these players haven't had too much going on. It looks like they do have it uncontested here, Gun.
Nice to have this place. I mean, not a huge fan of Colossal Crops in general, but when you get the area around it with all that metal and potential mechanical parts, it's a really good spot to be at. We see Eden already topping off his shield. Another fight going on. Looks like Cosmic already going down. Said that way too many times today. Now Muck's going for the elimination, and see ya. Bye-bye, Muck.
Bye Muck, as Cake and his team quickly take him out. Look, the action is firing up here in game number 5. You see already down to 87 players remaining in the lobby. That means a lot of action has taken place so far. And with all these players contesting each other, I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either, especially when you see players go down off spawn and then they don't have their POI. You think that you know where you're landing to start the tournament, and then things change after you get pushed out of there. Then you're forced to go land at random places, and that is not exactly what is going to be beneficial. But what's beneficial right now is the shotgun v shotgun battle. We're holding them out. Looks like Bot able to get out of here. Ghosty's gone down already. Xylo's going to get that elimination. Now it's up to Brayday to close out this final player here. Brayday goes down. And now Ghosty fully eliminated. Can Xylo 1v1 Zoli Xylo, who takes it home?
Yeah, look, I don't think he can, but I mean, look, he's a talented player. We've seen some good plays from him so far, but you have to think of all the facts here, right? He's a solo player. This is early game fight taking place, and it looks like this team is actually split. So if he's going to have an opportunity to do so, now's going to be the time to do it, as Zully is just on the other side of the wall, and he does take quite a bit of damage, but his teammate now pushing up and engaging in the fight. So every advantage he did have just moments ago here, he is now lost.
And quickly running out of those materials to save himself. Now we tune back over. This is Flush Factory, a place we watched a good bit yesterday in the solos. Haven't really tuned in to what's going on here yet. We do see Shiesty right on the outside coming over from that Lara Croft, the Tomb Raider island. We see Jolly over. Oh, and Peace Place is here as well. Everyone's here. This is a party going on at Flush Factory. Not exactly a two trio spot, but hey, guess, make it work if you want. We do see Jolly rotating up to the top of this building, trying to hold the high ground, not necessarily wanting to get involved in this craziness down below. Cozy Ozzy, Orog also looking for some shots, and that trio just gets together, hangs out, and waits for an opportunity to take some shots.
Look here, if I'm Cozy and Jolly, I'm just getting out of here. It doesn't even make sense for me to continue to take the fight. It's Flush Factory. There's no loot there. Like, there's no true advantage to winning an engagement there early on, so it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now we see another team, though, rolling up, and Pablo, Unreal, and Temper. They get a quick elimination here, but I can't see where his teammate is. Maybe definitely another split drop that Pablo, Unreal, and Temper have taken advantage of, because D-Win has D-lost this game.
Yeah, that's one of the first place members. That's Eden and Feneric. That's his team. So it looks like we had D-Win just get caught out lacking. We talked about it at the top of the broadcast. Sometimes you just get out way too far from your teammates, and there's nothing you can do when a full trio takes you on. That's exactly what happened. We know that Unreal, Temper, and Pablo want to take these early and mid-game fights. Just didn't think that it would be D-Win going down early.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I didn't think so either, but, if anybody's going to come back from losing a teammate early on, it's going to be Eden and Feneric. I think they know how to handle the situation, even though despite this team holding onto the card for dear life, I definitely think they still can make a turnaround as far as this game goes. Now, though, focusing on 12-inch, Nabuz, and Bodicus, This is a team that we've seen a lot of good action from, but nothing truly converting. They haven't given us some significant gameplay for us to be like, wow, that was just an insane moment, right? But a team that has Hoofishy, Kaz, and Narwhal, as you see Hoofishy just begin to jump in this player's box. And the shots are coming off here. Hoofishy actually getting the knock there. That is a good sign, to say the least. You know, Hoofishy, Kaz, Narwhal, they're going to be working to get these full eliminations. They're in the box, though, and now it looks like they're going to try and push up against Stealthy Stronghold and see if they can find the rest of this team.
Yeah, continuing this aggressiveness. This is what they've done all day. Sometimes it's been working out for them. Sometimes it hasn't. Able to get the first elim, and I think they'll continue to roll here if they can find this trio. Narwhal looking on the inside. Kaz continuing to search for these players over near the lighthouse. And I don't know that they're going to be able to catch up at this point. Zone is going to pull up to the north. So looking like neither zone going towards Slurpee. So Rip, once again, not getting it right. Again, should just buy a lottery ticket. Got a better shot at it. And we do see Spook. A tag comes through there. It looks like that was Narwhal able to hit a tag there onto Spook. Couple of them, and his teammate looks like he's leaving him for gone. He's saying, all right, I know what trio this is pushing us. Good luck, Spook. This is all on you. Give me some time so I can get out of here.
Yeah, honestly, that's what it feels like is taking place right now. You see Narwhal just building up and trying to get any kind of angles that he can on the player, but his teammate not anywhere nearby. Beltsky, though, is here with his teammates Prop and Jerema, and they're getting a nice little gas can play off early on. The builds are on fire. Now they're just trying to convert something here as the players continue to rotate underneath the bridge. Nothing significant being hit. Beltsky just trying to take any tags, get any advantage in the fight they can so they can begin to convert on some of these knocks and eliminations.
And Beltsky currently sitting outside of the top 8. Has a shot, though. They're not too far away. If they have a solid match, they're one of the trios that can compete for those spots. Now tuning in with Shiesty as well as Peace Police. Shio's gone down. Oh, but so does Peace Police. It's all up to Shiesty. Can he make some plays? The edits come through on both directions, and no, he goes down. Urag, Cozy Ozzy, and Jolly able to win that engagement. Likely going to be able to get Jolly back up here. Worst case scenario, they're just going to have to hit the reboot. And plenty of heals to hang out in Storm if they want to. Maybe time to go look for one of those vehicles. Get you moving on quicker out of here. Aokin here in an engagement needs to work on that aim because he misses a couple of easy shots that he could have had. Those players aren't going to let those go. Aokin going to pop a pepper, possibly give himself an opportunity to make a play here. Just playing the low ground. We have some wolves as well. Those can be quite annoying there when you're in the middle of a fight trying to play it out in a box. Now, Zerx and Focake right here. Aokin looking for shots, trying to get in the box there with that epic tactical shotgun. He does get in, but no, quickly gets out. Decides that's not where he wants to be. Doesn't even take any shots. Aokin, you got to deal some damage here if you want them to get off your back. Now he does manage to put himself in a box, get some shots there. That's exactly what he was looking for. Retreats back to his own box, but gets tagged up big when that happens. And it's all up to Aokin and Zerix now as Focate fully eliminated.
Yeah, Aokin has definitely struggled in these games today. We've watched him make a few missed plays here, but it does look like Zuri's actually going to be able to get an elimination. As I say that, though, Zuri does go down. Aokin just trying to get back in the fight. Only 50 HP, effective HP in a dream as he goes to build up. He does get in the box there with these other players. Now not being able to hit any kind of significant shots. He's run out of material too, and it is all over. Aokin heading back to the lobby here in game number 5.
Tough for him right there. Unfortunate. Maybe he will continue to move on past. Who knows? Got another game. We'll see. Antics, Surio, Riku. In Bony Burbs. Surio looks like he was eliminated earlier on. Riku now here. Maybe going for the reboot there. And now we tune in with Jazo, Aqua, Leroy, everyone just hanging out in this area. Seems like quite congested, but zone's going to begin to move and everyone needs to make that rotation. We're going all the way up north.
Yeah, look, I'm excited to see some northern zones today, to be honest. Like, we haven't necessarily seen a lot of northern zones last season. This is the season for it, though. Let's see some more northern zones as these players begin to pick up pace. Aqua, Leroy, and Jayzo, one of the teams that were doing very, very well last game, looking to replicate that same energy here in game number 5 as they continue to push. Storm Surge is now active, and Aqua's team now above the threshold, but not by much. They're going to need to connect with some players here early on if they want to avoid any kind of damage coming from the Storm Surge. Now, though, you see in the distance, other players are beginning to rotate around as Aqua, Leroy, and Jayzo are just right outside the zone, but it looks like they may not be able to make it in without having to take this fight.
And they are going to start taking shots here at Zully, seeing if they can connect. Nothing goes there, but unfortunately for this trio, whether they go left or right on this rotation path, there's trios on both sides of them that look like they want to take some tags and shots here, get their Storm Surge damage up. We tune in with Dis, Fluxy, and Renegade. One of the trios that could be going down here to Storm Surge if they don't make a play. We do see a knock there in the distance. I'm not sure. Is that Arrow? Yes, it looks like Jackhammer was able to get a knock there onto Arrow. I have to assume that was a bow shot from distance because nobody is nearby Arrow. And now his teammates, Strifer, Dripsy, gonna come back, go for the res. Fluxy not gonna look to take to advantage of that. Likely don't even know that that player was knocked in the box.
Yeah, I mean, they probably don't, right? They weren't the ones that were able to get the knock, right? So Arrow being knocked there and being down, but not out, they had no clue, and they didn't get to take advantage of it. Now, though, you see them taking some shots there in the distance, looking at the situation. It looks like Renegade is just struggling to connect with any of these players off in the distance. Now, though, a fight that you definitely want to see, and it's Nevify versus Kaz and Team. These are two top-tier trios in today's competition, fighting it out to stay alive in these final moments of Game 5.
Once again, under pressure here from Kaz. It seems these zones have given them trouble. Not just the later on stages. Once they seem to make it to endgame, they are fine. But it's getting banged up, having to deal way too much damage in these mid-game zones and have to deal with these fights. And like you said, this is actually a pretty big fight between these two teams. This could determine who is one of those top 8 versus who is not, and going to be looking on the outside in as we have 2 matches, including this one remaining. Looks like this fight's happening though. JC right up top, Taiksu right there as well. Continuing this pressure. Are we going to see this engagement fully happen? JC spraying on Narwhal. He's just going to back on out of there. Who Fishy spending the materials to hold the box.
Yeah, and Who Fishy's just holding on. I can't even figure out what's going on here as JC is just continuing to apply pressure. You see Kaz definitely running low on material. He's going to need to end this fight quickly if he wants to stay in it, and it looks like they might be able to. They get 2 knocks here as Narwhal gets the 3rd, and they are all eliminated. Nevify, Taiksu, and Jasty have been dropped here by Narwhal, Who Fishy, and Kaz. A turn of events, to say the least, as these 2 titans in this lobby go head-to-head.
I mean, I don't know why you go all in on that fight. I have to assume that it was either a Storm Surge or they had info that those players were weak, but just jumping in the box, maybe not the play. Either way, they are in a pretty good spot and will have an opportunity to solidify their top 8 going into the next game. We'll have to see how this all plays out. This is one of our trios we've been watching. Sat at the top of the leaderboard for a little bit, but then dropped 2nd place, really not that far. And if we don't see D-Win coming back in the game and FN Eric coming back in this match, or a big pop-off by Eden, there's some opportunity to claim that top spot. Now checking out Unreal here with Temper and Pablo, grabbing an Elim, bringing it back, and that's FN Eric. So this is our 1st place team. Now appears to be down 2 players, and it is all up to Eden, but man, Panda, If there's one player that could be a solo clutch demon, it's going to be Eden.
We've seen it several times today as Eden has now been left alone to fend for himself in this game. It does look like he's going to have to clutch up, and he's going to play patient, right? You know that he's not in a position to be aggressive when now he's the only player left in his team. But speaking of aggression, you see Pablo, Temper, and Unreal just firing away at this other team that's close by. I'm not sure that this is the best play. I know that you want to get as much control here as you can, but there are so many players close by that all of a sudden that focus could be on you.
We see this team easily in the zone, basically sitting center or fourth. This is one of those nightmare zones for anyone on that east side of the river. This river is a huge gap where everyone now is going to have to cross, and it's just wide open to get absolutely sprayed through. So have to be careful here. They do get some shots there on the Sora. His teammates fire back. Nothing connecting. And now Pablo, Temper, Unreal gonna split some ammo. Wait and relax. They're in zone. Pablo edits out. Uh-oh. He was expecting another box right there, but not what he was expecting.
Not what he was expecting at all, but you need to be careful in those situations or else you could end up getting tagged up unnecessarily. Now, though, you see Reese, Zuck, and Ecto holding a nice little high ground spot here on the Spire, which is a natural high ground spot. Not having to utilize too many material to hold this position is keen for them, because the more and more they go throughout this game, the better off they will be. That is the name of the game, folks. It is a building game. If you do not know, this is not Warzone. This is not Apex Legends. This is Fortnite, and it takes a lot more than just shooting to win a game.
And we see this is Reese, Ecto, and Zuck up here on the Spire. So in a really good position, especially if they get zone. This is where they want to be. They have points that they need to make up. Again, one of the trios that has performed well in FNCS, but it has to be more than just FNCS. Your former achievements do nothing for you here. You may gain the respect of other players in the lobby, but it doesn't get you points. Now we see Tubbs, Colifer, and Octo here looking for some shots. Have to be careful. Their top's getting sprayed out. They're one of the trios below, and in 16 seconds, they're going to start taking damage. That's Narwhal, Kaz, and Hufishy looking for the shots. I don't know what the play is for these three, because there is no one really besides that trio up above that they can fight and get damage dealt on.
Yeah, and I think Tubbs has realized that as he's looking to take it. He got a shots up above. And, oh, man, there are the tags that he needs, but it's not going to be enough. He's still down below just a little bit, and now Storm Surge is active. They have to either play the heal game against Storm Surge, or they have to get some more tags. They're only 76 damage above the threshold, though, or below the threshold, so they're going to have to convert this quickly. You see, as the damage continually changes, they're just trying to out-heal this as much as possible. In my opinion, this is not the play. You need to try and get some shots off. You already got some significant shots off on Hufishy above. You need to continue that energy and try to get some more tags off in the distance.
Yeah, the bandages are going to run out. 8 players still need to go down. We're likely about to watch this whole trio go down. Tubbs is going to get eliminated. Kaz gets knocked there, but it doesn't matter because Storm Surge is not going to stop. Colifer is going to continue to tank Storm Surge, and Kaz is going to get picked up while this all happens unless somebody else is getting involved in that engagement. Not only do they have to... Oh, and they go down. Storm Surge takes them out. End zone starts to move. We do see Unreal take down Mondo. Temper, the Elim there onto Dev, and the eliminations for that Storm Surge are going to go to the trio that was able... Oh, what is this play by Hufishy? They're going for... Oh, using somebody's gun strat here.
Yeah, but it looks like they didn't realize it was going to be blocked off as they are now held. Narwhal holding on barely as he rotates forward, and it does not look like he's going to be able to get Hufishy or Kaz. So now it's all up to Narwhal here to step up to the plate and stay alive. That is a tough spot to be in. I got to say this. I'm not sure what the thought process was on that play. I do get that you can kind of launch yourself there with the Spire, but with all the builds on top of there, I just wouldn't feel confident enough to try and take that and make my way into zone.
I think it was a desperation play, if I'm being honest with you. They didn't have much other options to make that rotate, especially with how late they were going. You had to get Kaz back up, but at the same time, Storm was going to force the issue. They have 6 elims, so not a terrible match, and we've seen Narwhal do some crazy things. At least I have, and he does get some shots there, some big tags coming through. And we'll have to see if Narwhal can solo clutch this. Watch out. He is just bullying kids on these rotations. You better watch out, because if you're in the way of Narwhal, he's going to take some shots, and that gold pump shotgun hits oh so hard.
Yeah, look, if you're going to have a legendary pump shotgun in the inventory, you're going to be in a good spot, right? That's definitely what you want to see, especially if you're a solo player. Now, though, you look at Death and John, they've lost Fades here, so now they're just fighting as a duo, but the Harpoon shots are coming off from all around. They need to be careful as John's leading the pack here and getting them into zone. But again, so many players still alive. They take advantage of this player here, and now another player on the other side of the wall. John gets tagged up significantly, but it looks like he may go down. He was not able to convert that into an elimination and get the health there, as now Serenity Death has made it in, but not without running into a couple more players, and unfortunately finding himself back in the lobby. Just like as you can see in the elimination feed, Narwhal has also gone down. This is a turn of events for these players as they continue to press on. Smite here with Sure Aim, another top team just trying to take advantage of these other top players going down so early. Let's see if they can convert a change here on the leaderboard with all of this action continuing to ensue.
And they're on the peppers here, so they're zooming past, putting themselves into a good spot in zone. He's going all the way down, quickly runs out of materials, but he puts himself in storm, or in the zone, and it looks like Smite has gone down, so it's all up to Sure Aim here. We see Dripsy 1K looking to make a play out of any kind of heals, but he's got a dream to live and going to hold out that pump shotgun, but look who it is on the high ground. It's Mist, Bray, and Elite up here holding this position. They're in a great spot to win this game, but potentially could have to drop down and make plays. And Dripsy getting the refresh he needs. Oh, some more shots come through with SMG, and this is big. They're able to hold that. Reese still alive there on the mid ground, but Ecto is going to take down Elite, and there is one of the players from the Height team. So now it's a 2v2 here in this final seconds.
Yeah, I mean, look, you see the players fighting it out as Arrow goes down. Now Dripsy all by himself. Will he be able to convert it? He does get an elimination there, a huge elimination at that, as Dripsy now stuck behind the stick, and it's not going to be enough, as now Bray and his team are able to get the victory royale here in match number 5.
Bray, Mist, able to clutch that up. We did see their third go down a little bit earlier. Nonetheless, doesn't matter. They got it. They're good teammates, picking him up when he's down and making sure that they're clutching up that win. What a game. And let's check out some other highlights from that previous match.
Yeah, we got to dive into these highlights, man. So much action continues to take place here. And now Antics here, that's a good sign from them. You see Rico getting the eliminations there pretty early on in this match. So much action just continued to ensue there. Kaz, Hoofishy, Narwhal taking that fight there on the edge of zone. You could say that was kind of the start of their downfall, right? That taking those edge fights led them to this situation where you now see Kaz get quickly beamed out of the sky.
We see Narwhal going down there after making a couple of solo plays. Death gonna run into a duo and get absolutely blasted. Now we see Pablo making plays, but it's the other player who's making those. And then Smite, Sure, backside of zone, picking a couple elims. This was a nice play here by Dripsy, picking up these last few elims, keeping him alive, almost able to clutch this up and win this game, but falls just short here.
Yeah, and I mean, you see him get these quick eliminations here on the side, but that stink bow and the cuddle or the stink fish, those things are just way too powerful. If you can't get away from the stinks, man, you're gonna ultimately go down, and that's what we saw happen there to Dripsy. So look, Bravify, you did a great job there in match number 5, but let's get you those leaderboards after this break. It is time, folks. The final game is here for the PlayVS Spring 21 High School Championship Trios event featuring Fortnite, Panda, and Gun here, bringing you all of this absurd action. I gotta say, man, just tons of great stuff continue to happen, but I'm excited to dive into this leaderboard here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really close as we take a look at what's going on. Top 8 matters. That's what we're looking for. And D-Win, FN Eric, and Eden up top still have an 11-point lead going into the final match. But Edge4, You're Easy, and Zik able to jump up there into second place. Death, Zijon, and Fades fall a little bit. And then Short Aim, Smite, and Dev able to jump into that 4th spot after that victory royale.
Yeah, I'm going to say sad Vitamin and Stacks, man. They're still in it, trying to dive back into one of those top 8 spots. You see Narwhal, Kaz, and Hufishy climbing up a little bit. They were in 8th place last time, now in 6th place. We're going to dive into now the 10th through 20th and look at the point difference here. You see 253 points in 1st, and then 20th is 89 points. What a significant point difference, to say the least. And you know what a big turn of events has been? TyQ's, Nevify, and Jasty. They're in 11th place right now, but they've been performing at such a high level. I'm surprised they're not higher, but that just speaks to the consistency that is required to make your way even into the top 10. So we see all these great players here in the top, in 11th to 20th. Now onto the final page here of 21st through 30th. So many big names begin to fall. We see 12-inch ruler there, and Bodicus dropping down to 22nd. You see Ghosty, Brayday, and Zalzo performing very well, but still just not finding any success or enough success to make their way out of the bottom 21 to 30.
Gonna be tough for these trios all the way down here to make anything really happen in this final match. We're gonna pretty much be watching our top 8, and then anyone I'd say 20 plus has a shot. Realistically gonna be more around that 11 place is the teams that we have to watch out for that could jump up the leaderboards and steal away one of these top 8 spots in this final match. Panda, okay, we got our top 8 almost solidified. Do we think we see some major changes here in this final match?
You know, I don't think we see too much changing. I think if anything, people that have decided they're not going to be able to make it to the top 8, we might see them be a little bit more lax or make less serious plays. But I do think the people that still are in contention for one of these top 8 spots, they're going to be playing harder than they have this entire tournament. They know this is the final moment for them to step up and do something significant. And here it is, folks. This is game number 6. Again, this is the final game of the day and the final moments for some of these players to really show that they are worth being in the top 8 spot.
That's exactly right. And this is what we've all built up for. We've been waiting for this final moment to determine who is the top 8. One game, about 25 minutes, will determine who is going to be our victor and who will qualify for that PlayVS Cup in June, with the top trios taking on the other top trios that have qualified in the previous seasons and will qualify coming up shortly after this for NA West action. Don't go anywhere after we're done with this final match. There's still going to be much more Fortnite to go on. Panda, you've asked me multiple times today. I'm asking you now. Who or where is Zone going right now?
Man, we just haven't had any luck guessing where this zone is going to end up. I'm going to be honest, right? We just have struggled to decide where this thing is going to be. But I'm going to go back with Kaz, Hufishy, and Narwhal. I think it's going to pull towards them over in Pleasant Park. I think there's a good shot that it's going to pull at least in that vicinity of the map. So I guess more or less saying that northern west side of the map here, closer to Coral Castle, closer to Shark. That's the quadrant I'm going to put it in. Okay. But where are you putting it at, Gun?
I'm going to go with like a center, north, west, east, south zone. So like somewhere on the map, Zone is going to pull here. This way, I've gotten it wrong literally every single time. Gonna nail it right here. It's either in the middle, it's going to be the north or the northwest or northeast, or to the east or the west, or to the southeast, southwest, south. somewhere along those lines. I think I got it this time.
All right, you heard it here first, folks. The first game ever where the zone does not close. No, I'm just kidding. But moments away here from game number 6. Again, final game of the day here for the East Coast region. But we have that West Coast coming up immediately after. Just a small break in between. So make sure to stick around. We still got another 6 games of action after this. But look, it all comes down to the wire. Who do we think is going to come out on top? Do we think Fishy, Narwhal, and them are going to be able to climb back up? Or is it going to be a situation where maybe they fall even below the top 8?
So I think I have to go with what I've seen is the most consistent trio of the day in Death, Zijon, and Fades. They've played really well together, and I don't know that every other trio has the same cohesion that I've seen out of them, especially in these end games. You know, as much as everyone else does, how difficult it is to play as a full trio and stick together in these end games. Not only to do that, but to execute with elims, refreshes, your tarps, your tunnels, staying alive and securing those placement points. I'm interested to see if they're able to do it here, but here's another trio we have to watch out for with Urizi, Zik, and Edge4, who have consistently been placing here.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely consistently have. Oh, look, it's Your Easy, Zik, and Edge. A trio that we've definitely seen some action from throughout today's games. And they're looking to replicate some of that action here live for us on the broadcast. But it does not look like much is going on as we switch over, though, where all the action is. And it stacks all by himself as Vitamin and Sad have both gone down.
And Stacks, Vitamin, and Sad was one of the trios that did really well off the start. Now it's going to be all up to Stacks, and with only that makeshift assault rifle, gonna struggle to make plays, but it looks like the other player drops down. Don't know what he was doing, able to grab the card here, and looks like that's Sora who's on their way out. Definitely did not have the HP advantage, so he wanted to give up that engagement and then look for additional loot. Neither player really in a spot to take a fight, but you have to think the comms should have came through that Stacks only has that makeshift AR, and if you have anything better, you can easily take and win that fight.
Yeah, I mean, agree. And you know what? I'm surprised, right? Like, I do understand that the chest is up here, but there was, and a shotgun in the inventory now, but there was also bandages down below. It makes more sense to just go for the bandages. But, oh, man, we switch over, and Beltsky is immediately going down. That is not a situation you want to be in. So you see Props now all by himself, just trying to convert here. It looks like maybe overbuilding in this situation. And it gave away the fact that he was right there behind, but he's not without hitting a nice, clean bow shot first.
Nice shots there, and now Props has got to do it all by himself or maybe get his teammates back here if he can grab the cards and hit the little reboot action. Tough in this final match. 176 is a little bit out of it, but still some opportunities depending on how these final games turn. They're sitting right outside of 8th. They're in 9th and obviously needed a big game as Strifer hits some shots there, then connects for some more. This is a trio that we've seen fight quite a bit, and they're close up there on the leaderboards with 159 points, possibly scooping up some more eliminations. Look like Arrow coming in for the engagement. Strifer going to clean that one up, and Dripsy now looking for this final player in this building.
Yeah, look, if you see Arrow, Dripsy, and Strifer coming, like, you gotta duck. You gotta get out of there, man. They have been such a crazy force to be reckoned with in these games. They've plowed through players and shown that they are definitely on top here in these games. Now in game number 6, they find the final player here as Arrow takes shots off against, it looks like Shiro. He's just trying to stay alive there. Strifer does get the a full elimination there on Shiesty. Now it's all about eliminating this final player.
And they do clean up that fight. That's all over. Thank you for playing. We appreciate you. Thank you for the participation. You guys played well, but now it's time to check out. Looks like Sad, Vitamin, and Stacks are back up. So able to reboot his teammates. But no, it looks like there's somebody else coming in. And this is the third-party Kings, Unreal, Pablo, and Tender, who have come into so many different fights, and now it's here at Boney Burbs where they are looking to clean up this trio who just got rebooted.
Ooh, and as we tune in, Sad goes down. Vitamin by himself. He was able to get the teammates up, but it's not looking good for them thus far as Stacks goes down, and so does Vitamin. You know, they were one of the teams that were thriving, clamoring, trying to get into one of those top 8 spots, and unfortunately, it does not look like it's going to be the case for them after match number 6.
No, unfortunately not. They're sitting right outside of the top 8 and going down this early. I don't think those elims are going to be enough. Now we're tuning in with our top 5 team currently sitting in the lead. D-Win, FN Eric, and Eden rotating on past. These guys really haven't played super aggressive here in this mid game. They've taken the fights that they've needed to, gotten the Storm Surge tags, but ultimately playing quite passively now, knowing that they're working with a lead, tuning into another trio. These guys need to make something big happen with Renegade and Flexi. T-Rone, Flop, and Christy also now taking some shots, some third-party action.
Yeah, look, I mean, EDP, Christy, Trone, another team we didn't really get to see too much action from, but it looks like they are not giving up quite yet. You see them rotating towards the zone here in these vehicles. They're looking to have a good time. They're looking to make this game an eventful one, to say the least, for their last. And wow, a nice tag there off in the distance, but obviously not enough to convert as you continue to see them progress away from Dis. Now, though, Eden, now this is our first place team, folks. Eden, Feneric, and D-Win just looking to maintain that momentum. I think it's comfortable to say that they're probably going to walk away with one of these top 8 spots, but now it's all about getting that number 1 spot.
Yeah, I'm sure that they want to take home this top spot. As competitors, always want to win and just take home everything. Looks like Eden going to craft some weapons here, give himself a nice little purple pump shotgun. Love to see that. And Eden just going to chill for a little bit, grab this blue AR as well. Guess he decided after a second he needed the AR. Not only did he need the shotgun, and looks like we're seeing a zone pull towards Colossal Crops. Nah, that's Boney Burbs over there. And we're checking out another engagement. This is a couple of teams on the outside of our top 8. Jace has been having a tough time today, but Spook, Quack, not in the best of spots either. We'll see if they're able to clean this up as Jace continues to try and get away here. Just got to hit that shot. See you, Jace. Now another one.
Yeah, I got to say, that was a great play there from Spook as he just quickly dove into the box and got the elimination fast. He was able to control the fight from the beginning to end, just like he was able to get this knock here on Icicle, just controlling from a different angle, getting the tags off where the player didn't realize he was, and now it's just all about keeping that momentum forward. And there it is, the final player does get some tags off on Spook. Spook backs up, but it's not going to be enough for this other player as Spook, Quack, and Fishy walk away, clearing out this trio.
Hey, if you want to make a miracle comeback, you got to do something like this, right? And that is what you were expecting for these trios that need a big game. Got to be aggressive in this final match. Although there is an elimination cap. Only going to be able to get 20 points for 20 eliminations. And we see Fable, Taco, Truth, and Pencil Bob, a former leader. They've fallen from their grace a little bit here, Panda. Now sitting right on the edge of this top 8. We'll see if they're able to stay alive here.
Yeah, this is one of the teams that really needs to perform here if they want to get one of those play versus cup spots. And oh man, as we say it, Pencil Bob gets a quick headshot, and now it's all up to Taco. Will he be able to pick him up? That's the question. You hear the pressure still coming in from different angles as now Truth just tries to hold off this other team. But now, them being stuck in Storm, this is not a good spot for them to be in, to say the least. You see the other players now rotating forward, but Truth, Bob, and Taco still need to make their way completely in. You actually see Sneaky just trying to keep an angle on him. And oh man, as that happens, the medkit goes flying out the window. Now it is Stubbs, Oliver, and Akko another team holding him from the outside. So it looks like there's going to be engagement after engagement here for these players.
And this might actually wind up helping our team all the way out in Storm of Pencil Bob, but it looks like Pencil Bob's going to get knocked as Hoofishy gets a knock in the feet as well, but Tubbs, Colifer, and Akko are going to at least pressure this team. So instead of holding what could have been some easy elims in Storm, never mind, as I say that, they start to look for the players in Storm instead of continuing to pressure the players down below. So Colifer and Oko going to put some pressure on, and Fable Taco goes down. Truth just trying to make it in. He's going to go down as well. It's all up to Pencil Bob, who's just one shot away. It's going to be an issue for this trio. Is Pencil Bob going to go for the res? He is appearing to try and get his teammates up. And both of these trios coincidentally looking for some shots on the people in Storm, and unfortunately, Pencil Bob, Fable Taco just need to move on past here. Oh man, this is a tough place to be for one of our top 8 teams.
Listen, it's not a tough place, though, for the audience, as they still get to stay tuned and have all the action here in the PlayVS High School Fortnite Trio Spring Championship, because it continues with the West region right after this. So again, still bringing you all the action here for another several hours after this. So make sure to stay tuned. If you want to check out the best Fortnite action here in the scene, here's the place to do it. Thubbs, though, does look like he is going to have to completely disengage from the fights that he was taking and progress forward, but it looks like he may be progressing into another team. So as the rotation begins, and it looks like it's actually Strifer and Dripsy, not too far away, more northern here to Pleasant Park, and maybe, oh maybe, am I finally going to guess a correct zone?
I mean, we had to be right eventually here, Panda. So at some point, we were going to get it right.
Hey, listen, out of 6 games, I'll take the one. You know what I mean? It can only go so many places, and finally we get to say that we were able to call the zone here. As this team up top, seems like they were able to call the zone too. You see them stacked up on the top of the spire there. A nice little spot for Tiksu and his team to be in. So as long as he can maintain that high ground and get some tags off while he can, he should have a solid game here in match number 6.
Pencil Bob, Fable Taco still alive, and that is huge for these guys. I thought it was all but over for them, trying to make plays here in the Storm, rotating, getting held. Luckily able to stay alive, and we will get to see this trio play as a duo and hopefully clutch up these points. I mean, with a name like Fable Taco and Pencil Bob, how could you not be rooting for him here, Panda?
You have to root for him, right? Like Look, they know that this is their final chance, right? They know that they're so close to securing a top 8 spot. They have to do well in this particular game, because this is it for them. And they've done it, man. They've come out of probably the most shambles situation we've seen all day and survived. But a team that may not be surviving here is one of the teams involved in this engagement, as Cozy, Ozzy, Orag, and Jolly are surrounded by other players.
Now we're going to have to start to think about this third zone rotation. Looking like, sounding like somebody's getting cracked nearby. And, oh boy, it just is hold after hold after hold for Fable Taco and Pencil Bob. Just everywhere they seem to go, everyone is looking at them, holding this duo now. It's an unfortunate situation because they have so much to play for in this final match and need this game to do well. But luckily for them, Cozy Ozzy at least is looking at some other trios, and they're able to continue to rotate in. But they know someone is sitting there, and they're going to continue to take some shots.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised they've been able to survive this long. We talked about it. We saw how they were able to get out of that shambles situation. But even teams like Cozy Ozzy, Orag, and Jolly, they're still applying pressure here in the distance. Now it's time to rotate, though, and it looks like they're going to have a bit of a struggle rotating. They do have some teams shooting in their direction. They're going to have to spin the material to get in safely. Hopefully they can find a place where they can get a bit of a refresh, but zone is still not in for them, so they are going to need to continue to move here if they want to secure a nice position in this final zone, or in the third zone, I should say.
Pencil Bob and Fable Taco in an engagement there. Looks like they're able to get 2 knocks. Pencil Bob gets that right in time before he gets tagged up by Cozy Ozzy there. And now it's Thubs versus Fable Taco and Pencil Bob. This is the revenge. This is the revenge fight right here. Even though it's on the edge of Storm, and I don't know that anyone's actually going to make it. Oh! And it looks like Pencil Bob and Fable Taco take that elimination. And now they got the refresh they needed. Look at that. That is such a better loadout than they were dealing with. They had some materials, and they're trying to get behind this mountain to cut off this line of sight, give them a possible rotation in the Storm. Otherwise, this might be impossible to get this right in with this trio up top holding them.
Imagine going from having every advantage on an engagement and then deciding to rotate and to separate and to take another engagement, and then going up against the players that you kind of let survive and them eliminating you in the final game of a tournament. Like, that has got to be rough to experience, to say the least, as Fable Taco now by himself has to continue to hold on and gather as many placement points as he can.
And now tuning in with another trio, Fokake, Aokin, and Zerx, appearing to look for some extra loot down below, securing it as they're getting shot at from some other players. In a pretty good spot here on edge of third. We see this lobby is a little thinner. Typically, that's the case. It goes one of two ways here, Panda. It either is super thin as everyone's trying to play quite aggressive, or everyone is just playing scared, waiting to try and get these placement points, and it's an absolute stacker. This appears to be the first of the two, with everyone playing aggressive, trying to make a comeback and get themselves to one of the top 8 spots. Now we check out Edge 4, You're Easy, and Zik in a good spot here in 4th zone, and this trio looks poised to have a solid final match.
They do indeed look poised to go. So with Edgy, You're Easy, and Zik, all these players are still fighting it out. Look at how many players have not made their way into zone as of yet. And one of those players that's not going to have the opportunity is Ghosty, as Ghosty quickly gets eliminated there. And now it's Pablo, Unreal, and Temper just trying to rotate forward. They need to make sure they are focusing on getting into zone. The last thing they want to do is catch themselves outside. How about that? Because that is the last place they want to be. They need to get into Storm. They do not want to have to worry about taking unnecessary damage. And because Storm Surge does not look like it should be a factor here in this game, they should be able to just focus on making it in, getting a nice position, and then getting some tags off when they are in the zone. Because that's what's important here, is making it in the zone, get a solid position, and then try to take the game from there.
Just tunneling on in right here, giving themselves a good spot, like Panda said, just making it in, and that's all that matters at the moment. Building out a little bit more, and here's a trio that we have to watch out for. They could easily drop out of our top 8 here, currently sitting in 6th place, but not secured that top 8 thus far. Have to have a good match here, get a few points at the bare minimum. But we know they want more than that, and they're taking shots at our first place team. FN Eric gets tagged up. Eden opens up, starts taking some shots back. And that is a big engagement between the two players within the top 8.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're these teams and you're these players, right, you're just trying to have a breakout performance here in the final game, and we're just not seeing a lot of breakout performances. A lot of players falling very early in this game, and this is another team not necessarily in the point range to qualify, but they are just trying to show that they are worthy. They are solid players, and the fight continues on as Zully ends up clearing the final parts of that trio, but not without losing his teammates.
Yeah, not sure what that was. That was a desperation play there, and it looks like he's going to pay for it. They are able to get the elims, but not before losing their teammates. Here comes the rotation by Hoofishy, Kaz, and Narwhal. Going to look to rotate right into Storm here behind some players. Looks like that's Leroy, Aqua ahead of them. And zone pulling all the way to the opposite side. Not where you want to be if you need to have a good final match. Now tuning in looking like jolly. FN Eric. Oh, FN Eric is below Storm Surge. That's why this trio was having issues and just forced to take an engagement and some wide open shots. D-Win going with the medkit play, but that's not going to come through. They barely get above Surge. And now, Panda, I would bet they don't make this rotate regardless. We do see D-Win go down, and it's all up to FN Eric. He's got to avoid any kind of line of sight. If someone sees him as a solo, he is 1 HP and will quickly be removed from this lobby.
Look, all I'm going to say is if he gets eliminated here soon, which it actually just happened as I say that, he's not going to be able, that team's not going to be able to hold the top spot, right? I definitely think we're now going to see a change in the leaderboard here, and I think Kaz, Narwhal, and Fishy, they're saying, you know what? It's our time to rise back up. You see them getting the shield off and trying to heal up and prepare themselves for the final moments of this game, because this is it. This is their last chance to continue to climb and solidify themselves on the leaderboards. But now, comfortably, after we watch our first place team go down, I am going to say I think Narwhal, Kaz, and Fishy are going to make it onto the PlayVS Cup in early June.
After that first match, I mean, the fact that we would even be questioning this is kind of crazy, but we did see them stumble a little bit in these games. Now we're checking in with another top 8 trio in Shore, Smite, and Devin. Continuing this rotate with the Peppers. A beautiful front side rotate in a really good spot. Only one elimination. We see Storm Surge popping up. They're just barely above, so gonna need to look for some shots. I would expect the lobby to go down. We see Z-John able to get an elimination. Warag picking one up as well. Fade's getting a knock there on the Leroy. Shore trying to follow these tarps from his teammates. Able to get through, and it looks like Smite continuing to lead this tarp. Now going to start to make plays for these refreshes on players above and below them.
Yeah, and those refreshes are going to be so important as Shore gets a nice tag off on these players and gets them down to 1 HP, but he's going to have to disengage. Shore needing another team needing a really solid game here in match number 6 if they want to stand out in the top 8. Now, you see the shots coming off down below. There are other players around as 12-inch Ruler is by himself. Losing Bodicus early on in this game has definitely played its toll. And now he's in a box with somebody else. He does get the elimination, but not without going down to 11 HP. 1 HP in a dream, and no, he does end up going down.
Now we tune in with Unreal and Pablo making these rotates in on this 7th zone, going through Exiv, picking up Temper. Orag gonna grab Antics. Reese, Ecto, Zuck still in this match. If they win this game with a few eliminations, they might be able to secure one of these top 8 spots and steal it away from somebody. We see Narwhal getting eliminations. This trio, like you spoke about, they should have solidified that top 8 spot. Fishy wall to wall there, takes an edit on 2 players. Now he's on the back foot looking to make a play. He takes down Dev. Down he goes. Fishy continuing to take some shots and make plays here. Now it's all going to be up to Fishy and Narwhal as we continue these rotates. Kaz has gone down, but another player in the box. Multiple players going down here, and zones bouncing back. So Fishy going to be able to secure all of this loot, and another player that's actually Kaz. Fishy goes for the play there, gonna secure some more loot, some more material refreshes. But this game is all Fades, Z-John, and Death, holding the high ground and dominating at the moment.
Oh man, could you imagine? This game can go any way right now. We've seen, again, Nevify, another team that really needs to secure a solid position in game number 6 if they want to come out in the top 8. You see Ecto and Reese just trying to continually rain down pressure as they end up taking out JC. JC does go down here. Echo just trying to solidify another elimination here on the other side of this box, trying to make some action and make some plays here. Now Z-John has dropped down to try and end this a little bit quicker, I guess. Looking though, Z-John does get some eliminations as he takes out Reese and Ecto, and they quickly make this game all their own.
What a final match, holding the high ground. Z-John, Fades, and Death taking the final match in their clutch, and that should secure them the first place. Oh man, yeah. The leaderboards will be coming here shortly, but so much action. I mean, we saw the shifts, the changes in the top 8 right in front of us as the game was happening there, Panda.
We definitely did. We're going to have to dive into the replays of all of today's games here in East. So actually, before we do that, though, we're going to dive into a quick break. Then we'll bring you all the recap of today's action. Here we are, the Play versus Ring 21 High School Championship East Trios games featuring Fortnite. So much action just took place here on the East Coast. I'm impressed. So much still yet to come, though, because we got West coming right after this. But let's dive into these leaderboards. We got to see who ended up coming out on top here in the East Coast. And this is it, folks. This is the moment you've been waiting for, and it looks like first place is gonna go to Death, Z, John, and Fades. Gunman, you were right.
Man, able to close that out, take the victory royale in that final match. I mean, congratulations to them, as well as Edge4, You're Easy, and Zik. We also have Shore, Smite, Dev, D-Win, FN Eric, Eden, Narwhal, Kazu, Fishy, Jazo, Leroy, Aqua, Koziazi, Orag, and Jolly. And then to close out, only a few points, I guess it was 14, so it was a little bit of a difference. Nevify, Taixu and Jasty able to secure that 8th spot, but look who has fallen out. Fable, Taco, Truth, and Pencil Bob. They dropped out of the top 8 in that final match.
I can't believe it, man. That is a tough situation there for Taco, Truth, and Bob. They worked really hard to try and survive as long as possible in that game, but they just were met with some unfortunate situations. So congratulations to the top 8. They're going to be making it on to the PlayVS Cup in early June. So congratulations, man. Huge ups to you guys. Now it is looking at the rest of this. Look at these points differences, right? We saw 12-inch ruler almost in a position to take it after game 5, but now after game 6 has fallen down to 20th place. What a turn of events here for 12-inch ruler, Bodicus, and Nabus.
Yeah, tough end of the day. We saw a number of teams start off hot, then finish a little bit cold, and vice versa, where we had some teams who weren't able to really get off to a good start, but then finished off strong, put themselves in a wonderful spot. And then you had teams that were all over the place, but man, that was absolutely nuts. The high school PlayVS Championship featuring Fortnite delivered and some, Panda.
It definitely delivered. But that's going to be it for East Coast, guys. But make sure to stay tuned here. We're going to go on a quick break, and then we're going to bring you all the action on the West Coast.